his book and play the way Libba has always played. What a champion he's been of the Western Bulldogs.
Big crowd, big game, fantastic atmosphere, and great to have one of the best callers in the land, Matty Hill, with us as well. Welcome to you, Matty.
I know, lovely to have you here on a Thursday night and echoing the thoughts of Jack and Kiki. That was just stirring stuff from Dennis Pagan. But for the Bulldogs, they've got their record streak against North Melbourne at the moment, which is 8 wins in a row since 2020, and they'll be looking to continue that. And, of course, the man that's just lighting up the competition, Jack, at the moment is Sam Darcy, who added 3 goals to his tally last week.
Yeah, and he's our Chemist Warehouse player in focus, 208 centimetres of this other father-son. And he's an incredible player, and we're scratching the surface with what Sam Darcy is capable of. Only 3rd season in, huge offensive numbers from him, and also obviously in the ruck too. But 7 goals against North last year. Is tonight the night that the Dogs get on top, and he has a huge night. 7 last year. Could he possibly go back against that? Last year was Comben and Core. Tonight, Pink, Logue and Dawson. They gave up 7 to Gunston, 5 to Chol, and 3 to Ramsden last week in that routing against the Hawthorn Football Club. So there is the opportunity tonight that he could really do a number on this North back line. There is his running mate Aaron Norton, who had his best game last week, 3 goals too. 12 marks, importantly, for Aaron Norton. That's been the part of his game that's been a little bit disappointing. I think the team defence from North Melbourne is critical tonight. Can they stop Richards, Bontempelli, Fraser coming through the middle of the ground and giving silver service to these 2 champion forwards? They need to force them wide. And the big play from the big man tonight from North Melbourne is Tristan Sherry. Where does he position himself in D50 to make sure he can support what will be an undermanned and under-height backline?
They're an awesome scoring machine, the Dogs, averaging 112 points a game in the last 6 weeks. Don't have a bad day against the Dogs. They'll expose you in all facets of the game. There's still something that needs to come right for them defensively. It may not be exposed tonight against the Kangaroos, but their inside-out game at clearance is really healthy. They've got the best forward 50 in the competition the last 6 weeks, almost converting 1 every 3 entries into a goal. Their targets are now starting to work out how they play, Jack. So it's all coming together. They've had an injury-riddled season. Bontempelli back into the guts. Richards is now getting tagged. It'll be fascinating to see who Clarkson goes after tonight.
Last time these 2 sides met was earlier in the year at this stadium, round 1, and it was pretty tight most of the night. The Dogs winning by 16 points. And, well, back in the middle of the ground, Tim English is a focus for you tonight, Kiki, particularly up against the big man Sherry.
Yeah, he is, because I have a look at what happened last week, and Brody Grundy was able to have his way with Tim in the ruck, and I still think this is a concern for Luke Beveridge going forward. I mean, this star-studded midfield just needs supply. They need service. I mean, we often hear them talk about the ability to strip the ball back off the opposition, but this sort of service last week, particularly when Brody was grabbing the ball out of the ruck, it forced you to think, can Tristan Sherry do that tonight? He's one of the top 3 or 4 ruckmen in the competition that grabs the ball, Tristan. So if he can grab it or tap it like this and take advantage of the midfield, well, they'll be in this game for as long as Tristan can keep them going. But I'm a believer that Tim needs to be a little bit stronger in these rucking contests. He's 10th rated for ruck work, absolute ruck work amongst the competition at the moment, Tim. And he's probably one player that I think could come up another 10 or 12 to 15% and make a big difference, because there's the guys that grab the ball against ruckman. So Tim and Rowan Marshall have had their opposition ruckman grab the ball 45 times out of the ruck, most in the competition. The Kangaroos will know that.
Let's head down to ground level, get the feel down there. Brad Johnson and Eddie Betts.
Yeah, the feel is unbelievable at ground level. Let me tell you, after that Dennis Pagan pump-up, it's still buzzing down here. Our attention turns to the Western Bulldogs and what they need to do in tonight's game. And a couple of young players that played extremely well last week are back into the lineup. They're ready to fire up again, Ed. And one is Joel Fraser, because you can talk about walking Broadway for a week because he was so good in what he produced. But we all know it's very hard to replicate that. You like to create a good standard of football, but to get the 25 or 6 disposals and 4 goals again, that becomes difficult to replicate for a young man.
It is hard, as a midfielder as well, but the way you play the game, you came in as a defender. And so second year into the system, to come in there with Adam Trelaw going out as well, it's a good addition to have a big body. Him and Matt Kennedy, they had that grunt through that midfield, and then go down back when they need help. because he's played down back his whole career. So to go out there, help out in defence, but yeah, it's super to add someone like that to the Western Bulldogs midfield.
It certainly is. You look what he was able to produce. His third quarter was unbelievable as well last week. On the year, he's been excellent for a second-year player. You can just see the mature body and his mature approach and what he's been able to learn around Bont and Libber and Trelaw when he's out there, of course, and Matt Kennedy, his experience coming over from the Blues. So he plays a pivotal role now for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, he does. And if I was him, I would be up Bont's shoulder the whole time, just understanding, how do you work around stoppages? How do you work around running forward and defensively when you're playing in that midfield? And just work that craft with him, because Bont's one of the best, or is the best in the competition.
Now, guys, we said it's hard to replicate, but who knows? He may come out tonight at 30 and kick 6. So we wait and see. He might blast it off the park, but he'll be in for another excellent night of footy for sure.
So the build-up continues. Here he is, the man in question, Tom Liberatore, premiership player in 2016, two-time All-Australian, as the Roos are getting themselves warmed up, and you want to concentrate predominantly here, Jack, on Nick Larkey.
Yeah, well, Dennis mentioned last week, he mentioned Hawthorn, and he eyeballed a few and said they needed to do better. This man here was fantastic last week. Only 40 inside 50s last week for North Melbourne. And this was Nick Larkey's best game of the season. 5 goals and his most possessions in a game, which I think is something that he can sort of fall out of the game and have 5 or 6 touches and actually not have much of an impact. It was 14 last week. You can see all those season highs in that game versus Hawthorn against a very good backline with Battle and Barras. But I just think that the attitude in a really difficult game where you're getting beat by 85 points, just to stand up as a leader of this football club. And there will be more leaders tonight that need to stand up like Nick Larkey did last week. And importantly, put that performance on no matter what is happening on the scoreboard.
Who's going to take responsibility for the first quarter? Will it be Alistair Clarkson or Dennis Pagan, do you think, guys? They've won 7 quarters in the last 5 weeks, so 7 out of 20 the Kangaroos. Which is not too bad. There's a few teams below them. I just get the feeling they might get a response.
Yeah, well, if they can't get a response out of what we've just seen from Dennis Pagan, nothing will, as the crowd continues to build on this Thursday night, and for the Western Bulldogs coming in 7th position and have got their sights on the top 4 with a high percentage leading in. They've also got their sights on Brisbane in a couple of weeks' time. So the toss of the coin in the middle of Marvel. The man of the moment, Tom Liberatore, Jai Simpkin. And it'll be Tom Liberatore kicking to the left of your television screens.
This is big for the Bulldogs now as well. I mean, they need to take all the emotion out of what is happening on a big night for North Melbourne. You can see Tom Liberatore, game 250, is that they need to come out and silence this crowd early on and silence all the emotion that we've just seen in the build-up for this 100-year celebration. That would be on the forefront of the mind of Marcus Bontempelli. I'm sure Luke Beveridge would have touched on it as well. It's okay to be the enemy on a big night like tonight. Come in, make sure they hit the Kangaroos right between the eyes early on, take everything out of it and play that Bulldog style of game. They come in favourites. It's really important they get off to the hot start as well.
So it all started the 2nd of May, as Dennis Pagan mentioned. And a ruckman by the name of Johnny Lewis kicked the winning goal for North Melbourne. 100 years on, Marvel Stadium, under the lid on a Thursday night. And they host, as they come in 16th against the Western Bulldogs in 7th. A special night to be at the footy. A special night to be watching on Fox Footy, North Melbourne's centenary match. And the umpire is about to hold the ball aloft. We're about to get underway. Tom Liberatore getting himself in the middle of the ground against LDU, English and Sherry to lock horns for the first time. And away we go. They nullify each other. First Tap down towards Simpkin. Simpkin with a hurried kick inside 50. Zerha shoves Caulfield out of the way. Ball in dispute. Grabbed by Lobb, who just quickly threw it on the boot. It's going to be good enough. Marked by Bontempelli. And they move it quickly through Richards, who directs a bit of traffic and then looks for the corridor and finds Norton. They're moving it quickly. Kennedy's kick inside 50. Straight down the throat of Vandermeer.
We can already see this precise ball movement from the Bulldogs. They were able to carve the North Melbourne defence up. Those blue jumpers of North Melbourne just standing still as the Bulldogs pierced the way through. That handball there from Aaron Norton. See, Vandermeer was out the back, read the play and the turnover better than anyone.
So Vandermeer, who was well and truly all on his own. Played every game last year. He's having a terrific season in 2025 as well. And it's a minute in and the first goal to the Dogs.
Well, I love the aggression from Ed Richards on the wing. It's easy to kick the ball long down the line, though, for a contest close to the boundary, but he double pumps and he pulls it back in. That kick there, back into Norton, who was surrounded by 3 Kangaroo defenders, and that was it. Vandermeer was out the back, but if that kick doesn't hit at speed and maintain flow, have a look at it here. Normally that goes long down the line, close to boundary. He pulls it back in and catches the Roo defenders out of position. Great kick, Ed Richards.
They've already changed one of their matchups in defence, the Kangaroos. Caleb Poulter's playing out a full forward, not Darcy, standing in the goal square. Darcy a little further forward, central on Pink. He's picking up Poulter back in the middle. English and Sherry, this will be a great battle. Sherry got up with a hold, and it's Libber's ball. Celebration day for Tom, and he blasts it long. He's got the high fives down there. Darcy's the tallest. He can have a say as well.
That's an incredible mark by Tim English. Just to flow back in front of the pack there. It looked like Sam Darcy was setting himself for a contested mark. But territory early is important, I think, for the Bulldogs. Just to get it, put the pressure on North Melbourne. What a fantastic mark by Tim English. Just to float back in front there. This is what they've got. They've got 2 boys that are 208 centimetres tall that can dominate the airwaves.
And if he finishes this season strong, it's a different world for the Dogs. Straight through the middle. Perfect start for the Dogs.
Well, it is, and it's something that we haven't seen a lot from Tim this year. He's taken 14, that'll be his 15th mark inside the forward 50. Challenging his opponent. Well, we talked about the tap ruck work. We said, okay, I'm going to challenge you going forward, see if he can defend. Ruckmen traditionally are not great defenders, and he just holds that 7 or 8 metre gap all the way down. He knows that Darcy's going to bring all the action, and in the end, it's courageous, but a pretty strong contested mark. Great start for the Dogs.
So maybe that is the weapon against Tristan Sherry, one of the informed ruckmen in the competition, is challenge him. They've got 2 bona fide rucks. Darcy goes in there as well, and he's so damaging when he gets in there. So Tim English and Darcy to run Tristan Sherry around.
We'll sign until 2029. Tim English to the Dogs. Back in the middle, foot race. Simpkin and Richards. They overrun it. LDU's little handball. McKercher back to Davies Uniac. Kicks towards 50. Up they go. No mark taken by O'Donnell. Off hands. Quick hands. Lob looking for Caulfield. He's grabbed. A little bit of interest on the tackle from Zerha as well, who's fired up and a ball up.
Rory Lobb proppy after that big collision there.
A couple of hard tackles from the Kangaroos. You'll expect that. Expect a quick reply here. Kennedy got it from Liberatore. Bangs it back out. Stevens about to send it back in. Their greatest strokes of all time. Dennis Pagan's revved them up pre-game. Out wide to the ex-Dog. Second game against his old team. Caleb Daniel inside to McKercher. Holds it up. Crowd still building here at Marvel. The celebration night for the Kangaroos. Slides it wide. We had a couple of options. He went for Sheasel. Larkey was lurking. And Harry Sheasel.
Well, they took their time there, the patient approach. You can see the Dogs, they all covered corridor. They set their grid to cover the corridor, and they left the pockets available. I think the kick was originally meant for Larkey in behind. Didn't cover the dangerous space. And if you want to take this low percentage opportunity, it's all yours.
Had 31 possessions when the two teams met earlier this year. Harry Sheasel, he was a dominant force, even though they didn't get the win. He has kicked 3 goals 7 this year. Make that 3 goals 8. A let off.
So Caulfield, who's fighting for his footy life in many ways. Wide kick and spoiled by Pink.
Cleaned up there, Sam Darcy. That's important too, the bodywork. Young Dawson, game 5, playing on what we think's a superstar of the competition. The bodywork around the ball so critical.
Yeah, spot on. Second game this year as well for the draftee out of the 2023 draft, which was a pretty good draft. It's really emerging, that draft, as one of the best in recent times. There is Luke Beveridge, 11th season as Bulldog coach, longest serving all time.
English won it down. Davies Uniac immediately grabbed by Bontempelli. Powell out to Scott, blazing away inside 50. Off hands from Lob up against the boundary. Caulfield's handball to nobody, and it'll be a throw-in.
And Jack, straight after that contact with Darcy, he had a chat to the umpires, actually, just talking to them in regards to being checked off the ball, make sure they keep an eye on it. He was pretty strong with the umps about that.
So Sherry wins it down, goes himself, kicks it hard towards Lucky.
Well, there it is. Sherry grabbing the ball out of the ruck, as we talked about in the pre-game. It's a real threat against Tim English. It happens more to him than any other ruckman in the competition. Front position, grab it and go. Quick kick instead of a handball.
So kick 5 last week, makes no mistake. First goal for the Roos in their big match on a Thursday. Nick Larkin's 34th goal for the season.
Well, don't get beaten by what you know. It's an old coaching mantra, and English just got rolled then. Scouting we done. How can we get hold of the midfield of the Dogs? Well, if it hits the deck, they've clearly got more talent there. But if you can keep it in the ruckman's hands, well, who knows?
Yeah, and it's the weapon that North have got. And Tristan Cherry's so good at keeping the space between him and the opposition ruck really close, because he knows that plays into his strength. But a fantastic mark from Nick Larky as well, 5 last week. This one at the top of the goal square against a very good defender, James O'Donnell. Undersized a little bit, O'Donnell. Larky close to 200 centimetres, but maybe this does nullify the star-studded Bulldogs midfield. The fact that Cherry can take it out of the ruck.
It was almost a replay of what you showed us pre-game between those two, Sherry and English. Kingy, great vision, holding the man. Richards free, it's going to be a Dogs ball. Kangaroos thought it was theirs. LDU, you can see he's perplexed. Ed putting together some great numbers, arguably the best player in the comp this year. Flyers go up, there's some tall timber there. And gathered by O'Sullivan, who is in turn gathered.
You can see there Tristan Cherry just putting an absolute beeline for Sam Darcy to get back and help out. Now he's against him in the ruck.
So Darcy pats it down. Came out to Stevens, tucks it under the arm and scampers away with it. And a spearing ball to the outer side. Cooper Harvey. First game for a long time after 3 games in his first season in 2023. Simpkin drops it. Spills to Maley. Back to Simpkin by hand. LDU fumbles. Going in was Hines with an intercept kick off the boot. And Maley takes his medicine from Bramble and a ball up.
Just got to be so careful with the ball there. Make sure that your handball's hit, especially early on. That's a chance for North Melbourne to break through that they've missed.
Spot on. It's a one-grab game these days. You can't afford to double grab it. Or just outside 50. The umpire's letting it roll.
Yeah. And that's the second time Cherry's grabbed the ball out of the ruck. Clearly it's a weapon for him.
Big pack around it, flung in the air. English front spot. Gets a slap on it, knocked it down. Stevens gets it. Holder tried to get him. LDU going the wrong way. Taken 360 by Bont. Now low, wrapped up, going nowhere. Holding the ball. Had an arm free. Didn't try to get rid of it. And the short to Kennedy. Has to play on to advantage. Sanders gets it back on the move. The Rolls-Royce couldn't pluck it from behind his back. McKercher goes back in. Flicks it further to Hardiman. It's been a good inclusion to Lowe. They need him to fire. Ugly kick. Stevens made it look great. Hands it back to Hardiman. Possession machine. He heads toward the wing. Great grab though, against the grain by Lobb. Been doing it all year.
And now Dale, talking about possession machines, has to go for a bit of power running. Did it pretty well, but his handball really did put Kennedy under pressure. And now the ruse off the slingshot. Curtis's long kick. Larkey sets himself. He's got it again.
Well, I reckon Dennis Pagan will be looking at the chase of Jacob Costanti there. He was the one that didn't let Dale get away. He's the one that forced the turnover, the errant handball through the middle of the ground, and this is why Nick Larkey's taken his second mark inside 50.
So, such a shining light in a tough week last week. But this is a big stage. Big game, second goal. Nick Larkey with another one.
Okay, he was worrying signs early. The Bulldogs went whack in that first 2 minutes. From there, it's actions like this. The mark from Rory Lobb. Look at Costanti. He just does not give up. Gets past Johannesson. And he is just hell-bent on getting to Bailey Dale there. He's the one that forces the turnover. Brings the defence in the face of Bailey Dale. And then the turnover here. Nick Larkey out the back in a really dominant position on James O'Donnell. That's another good contested mark. Good ball use by Paul Curtis, who's starting to have an impact on this game as well.
And these two teams met earlier this year. The Dogs jumped north as they did tonight. They led by 16 points at quarter time in that game, the Dogs, and then North essentially won the game from there. 3 goals down at quarter time. They lost by 2. Nick Larkey kicked 5 in that one as well. He was the man who almost stole them the game. Bonampelli got away from the Sheasel tackle. Scott, whose dad's in the crowd again today. Larkey off hands. He might get the crumb. Super Nick. Slots another.
I think it's a pressure in the middle of the ground from North Melbourne there. Just buying into this team defence.
What a super target he is at full forward, Nick Larkey. He very rarely gets outmarked. He'll bring the ball to ground at worst so the smalls can go to work. You just see here, he outbodies Lobb. Can't get a good fist on that. It gets to the back and away you go. He's involved in everything in the forward 50 for the Kangaroos. What a start.
So we've travelled 13 minutes and 3 goals to Nick Larkey. Pick-up had to be clean. He loved it. So 1 down by the Dogs, but only as far as Simkin. Long ball inside 50. Constanti fighting for it. Caulfield goes in, scoops it out to Darcy. And then Bramble exits D50 with a little bit of composure to Vandermeer. Kept it moving. Poulter, little chip kick. Wasn't the right option, looking for Fraser. As it was Phillips on the scene, but they get it back through Vandermeer. Tight roping the boundary inside 50, but overcooked the kick. Was looking for Norton. Wasn't to be. In the end, it's in the hands of Dawson.
Yeah, as Nick said, great to see Nick Larkey playing some great footy down there. And an amazing start after the big pre-game from Dennis Pagan. It is on right now. Bonampelli turns inside, turns outside. Spear pass. Little Daniel had to try and knock it away. It's like trying to get a Sharon out of the tree.
He doesn't always lose, Goliath. Sometimes he's just too big. That was unfair. Concerns here for Nick Larkey behind the ball.
Sam Darcy bends it. Doesn't get it. Still the crowd went up.
Yeah, interesting decision by Sam Darcy. Just to make that the kick around there is Nick Larkey makes his way to the bench.
He's got a leg issue. So
a knee issue, I reckon.
Always helps when you've kicked 3 in the first quarter to get back out there, though, Jack.
Oh, you're flat.
It's just jogged straight down to the room, so we'll get a report soon. Daniel has played 192 games for the Dogs. Sends it long. No mark dragged down. Zerha by hand to Scott. Scott immediately grabbed. Sanders all over him and a ball up.
Don't tell me you did it celebrating.
Oh, good proppy there, turning.
He was in the original marking contest.
Phillips wobbles it away. Caulfield stands in the hole. Can't mark it. Dale collected. Hardiman, he was ridden a little, but not too much.
A bit unlucky there, Caulfield. Stood in front, took all the trauma.
Alistair Clarkson, third season as North coach. Big night to be at the helm. She's a lock-up tackle on Marcus Bontempelli, and we'll get another ball up.
Didn't Sherry's eyes light up when Marcus Bontempelli grabbed that? You can see he's a wrecking ball, Sherry. Any chance to make contact, he makes it.
Sherry outbodies Darcy that time. Just a bit too hot for Powell. Grabbed by Richards. Garcia, Sanders goes for a run. Now out to Bramble. Bramble looks further afield. Rifles one to Norton. So who's on the lead? He ignores a couple, so he's going to prop it up towards the top of the square. No mark from Hines. Fell to Poulter. Thought all of his Christmases had come at once and missed it by 10 metres.
Just had the chance to steady there. Caleb Poulter back into the team, looking to cement his spot in a team that's hopefully for Dogs fans going to be pushing into September.
Nice to know you got the decorations up for Christmas in July, Matty.
Indeed, it's that time.
It is. Feels like there's snow coming. Sherry from the back pocket. O'Sullivan.
It's been good since he's been moved to half-back. Just a little bit of class.
Yeah, just 10 possessions last week, but the week before, the nomination for the Rising Star as Kennedy jumps in. Speaking of being good, we might be disappointed with his change of clubs. He's been awesome for the Dogs, and now we get the moment that many Dog fan was hoping for coming along. Tom Liberatore talked a lot about it, never been All-Australian, been in the squad of 42 times. His game 250 boots, tattooed, Simpsons tattoos everywhere, a writer of poetry in his spare time, and that was poetic in game 250 for Libba.
Every player getting on the ground to Tom Liberatore. Just the heart and soul of the Bulldogs organisation for a long period of time. One of those characters that opposition players would look at and want to play with. Came from a turnover here there. A player that they've just got to the football club, and Matthew Kennedy's had a fantastic season. Just a little chip inside with all the firepower down there. The mids can pop up in areas like that, and it's important that they do hit the scoreboard.
Doesn't kick a lot of goals, Libba. Just his 5th goal for the year, 4 last year, 8 the year before that. He'll be pumped with that. It's almost worthy of getting another tattoo, Dwayne, I reckon.
Well, the last one he got to celebrate was the spaghetti and meatballs, he told me. It's the one that gets you stick there on his arm, so he might be due another.
And just noticed at ground level too, Castandi tagging Bailey Dale. Bailey Dale ran off the ground. Castandi made sure he was completely off before exiting the arena as well. We've seen players use that tactic over the last couple of weeks.
North out of the middle. Powell towards the top of the square. No mark from the Moose Maley. Zurha goes running after it. Affects a solid tackle. Harvey in the phone booth and out. Talked about the poetry from Tom Liberatore. He also mentors local inmates at the Port Phillip Jail and also goes to the Caroline Chisholm Catholic College and helps the students with their homework, a part of the community work with the Western Bulldogs. He's some human.
Yeah, spot on, Matty. Great player, great human being. And it's good to have the celebration for him tonight, even though it has been overshadowed on a larger scale with the 100-year celebration for North. Good contest. You got no idea where these two are on the ladder if you've watched the first 10 minutes of this one so far. Hurry kick with Daviginiak. Finbar got there late, hit the deck. Garcia caught. Did he have Pryor? Liberatore. Crowd thought he did. O'Donnell. Jure. Williams trying to spend it wisely. Keeps it low. Good pluck taken on the outside by Hines.
Only his 7th game, Hines. Good player in prospect. Little chip to Williams. So Williams going to go long down the line. Norton in from the side. West waited for it and in the end spoiled by Load and out.
Yeah, the value in that from Aaron Norton, just getting across. Griffin Logue playing in front of Norton, trying to check him getting across that aerial contest, but this is a chance to reset again.
Still waiting for Nick Larkey to reappear on the bench, still with the doctors and physios at the moment.
Thanks, Jono. That will be a big story if he can't reappear. Scott gets there, gave it up. So McKercher wants to go back if he wants to. He gave us some consideration. Just ran himself into trouble. Gets it to Phillips. Tight ropes the boundary. Floats it forward. O'Donnell will lob. They talk it up. And Lob says, I've got it.
See North trying to prevent the Bulldogs from switching the ball here. Force them down one side. That really just plays into the North backline hands.
They have to go thin side as a result, Jack, and Lob has to throw it onto the boot. Norton couldn't grab the mark, and he's given away a free kick with Sherry.
It's amazing the transformation Tristan Sherry's undergone the last 15 to 20 games.
So Logan O'Sullivan, they're just mucking around with a little here. Short kick to Logue, that won't be good enough. But Kircher, and on a spearing ball straight down the opposition's throat. So Hines has it. Looking very disorganised indeed. Inside defensive 50 North Melbourne, as Bramble has it in the middle of the ground.
Well, Tim English is on his own.
Jure back into the lineup for the Dogs with a few out injured. Daisy Cutter and Sherry cuts it off. He plays this season out well. He's still a contender for All-Australian. Another pretty good season. There might be a few ahead of him in the queue, but so far so good tonight. Bailey Scott back into the lineup. Handball a little too slick. Turned over. Vandermeer tried to get it up to Kennedy. Missed him completely. Sanders with the don't argue. Little push off, fend off, run off. Got away from Powell. Back to Jure. Sides his way through a couple. Heads to Poulter, of all people. Nearly plucked it. Landed like a cat to Libba. Vandermeer shoots the handball to Kennedy. He's got West. Little fumble. Forward pocket. Fed the handball to Vandermeer. Central. English in the hole.
That's a clear tactic from Tim English. He knows that he's going to get beaten up around the ball by the bigger, stronger man. Get forward and make Tristan Sherry defend. He's inside 50 by himself. That last entry, Sherry just happened to be in the right spot at the right time, but Tim English certainly put him.
We've got a hot contest here at Marvel tonight. He slots it.
Nick Larkey's come back up the bench, just doing some run-throughs down here. He's got the knee strap.
Thanks, Eddie.
Well, that's English's second mark, inside 50. It's just a great battle, this, in the ruck. At contest and clearance, Sherry holds sway, but in general play, English is challenging him forward. And he could probably take an extra risk or two in knowing the support that he's got at ground level. The kick from McKercher was the one that put the back line under all sorts of pressure. We saw Alistair Clarkson going crazy in the box, clearly not part of the plan.
So Nick Larkey just jogging back to the goal square, which is good news for North supporters. As Wayne mentioned, if this could keep going, we're in for a very entertaining night. Dogs by a goal, 2 goals to Tim English. And he's back put to work in the ruck. Kennedy in and under. Came out to Liberatore, quick hands to English. Long penetrating ball towards the top of the square, 2-on-2, fisted away. Overrunning it was Fraser, Kennedy, Garcia. Richards runs into a wall and gives away a free kick.
Now, what's that for?
High on Luke Davies-Uniacke, according to the umpire with the fend off.
Well, if he goes low to tackle, Dwayne, is that not the tackler's problem? Or is the fend?
Ben got him, I think.
The
But
fend
he
hit
did
him?
drop into the fend. Yeah, King, we'll call him again. Don't shoot the messenger. Sorry. Get out there with the whistle shortly. I know you do enjoy the umpire's briefings, mainly for the sandwiches pre-season.
Well, that's about as long as they last.
Luke Davies-Uniacke heads wide. Caulfield might be the flyer here. Got a set of knuckles on it and got it out of play. And Luke Davies-Uniacke might even need a test, given the way he's blinking at the moment. So let's hope he's okay.
Doctors are assessing that on the boundary line at the moment, having a look at that footage as we speak, Dwayne.
Brad Johnson, thank you very much. On the boundary line with Eddie Betts tonight. English wins it down. The man in question, Davies-Uniacke, wrapped up by Liberatore. Sherry using his muscle again. It's a hurried kick away. Cut off by Caulfield and then over clubs it, looking for Kennedy, and that's going to be out of play through centre wing.
We'd love to see Sherry handball that ball to a teammate, to a midfielder who can explode out of stoppage, instead of quick kicking back to the extra that the Dogs have 40 metres behind the ball. It's become a weapon grabbing the ball, though.
And they go again. Sherry English rides him. Umpire said not an unrealistic attempt at a ruck contest. Slick handball missed its initial target. Libba lays the tackle. It's congested. Luke Davies-Uniacke looks okay. Got it to Scott. Phillips inside. McKercher. He's got open side runners. Dersma back into the lineup. He talks this week on Fox Footy as to how happy things are between Dersma and North. Well, he's in. Show us what you got. Curtis, all season, has shown us what he's got.
Well, it was an excellent lead by Paul Curtis. He actually crossed over paths with Nick Larkey to get out the back here. You can see Tim English sort of taking a hanger nearly at a bound to throw him, but he was the one that got out the back, Curtis, and then the mismatch there on Rory Lobb. And with the speed that Curtis has got, was able to beat Lobb on the lead-up.
North Melbourne's only had one All-Australian for the past 6 seasons, Nick Larkey. But Curtis is a genuine contender this year.
Well, he's been targeted 40 times inside 50 this season. And any player who's been targeted 40 or more, he is the #1 target in the competition. You get a goal 27% of the time when you go to this guy. #1 in the competition. And the team score a goal, second best when you go to this guy. He's a small in stature, but a tall when he arrives at the ball. He's strong, capable overhead, wants possession, and converts. That's 12 goals for now from inside 30. He just doesn't let you down. He's been their best player this year. He's been their biggest find.
His relationship with Nick Larkey is really important too for both of them going forward. Just to play deep and high, get the mismatch that we just saw. Every good small forward needs a good tall forward.
Paul Curtis close to eclipsing his effort last year of 30 goals. He's at 26 at the moment. Sherry wins it down. Richards needs to pick it up. It was a good pick up. Beat 1 and beat 2. That was slick in the end. Finds Bontempelli gliding through. Back to Liberatore. Powerful kick on the left boot. It's a high one as well. West flies. He got a little bit of it. Kennedy got a little bit of it. And Hardiman took it to ground and a ball up.
This shirt's so unique, how many left footers the Bulldogs got in their midfield. Just gives them something different, a point of difference against every other team.
Sherry down to Kennedy and Libba. Couldn't break away with it. It's tight. Powell got it away, but Giroux about to send it back in. Back pedals. Opens it up. Lob. What's he got? In his bag of tricks. Heads long, goal square. Norton in the middle of it. Holder, the surprise flyer. Got it up to Marcus Bontempelli. Just a little wide. A little apology to Ed Richards. Sorry, might have given it to you if I had the chance again, but little heat check from the bot.
Well, they're getting smacked in the middle. The Dogs star-studded midfield, 14-7. The stoppages in favour of the Kangaroos.
Kick in the Larkey direction. Outpointed that time from Lobb. So Lobb back inside 50 it goes. Darcy with a couple to beat. Coulter's hovering, grabbed the football. Vandermeer, handball was too hot for him. He scraps for it. Game of twister and ball it up again.
Been impressed with young Will Dawson. He's got the big job on Sam Darcy. He was there again at the right time.
English, Sherry, they both go to ground in the end. Sheasel out towards Fowl, who was being held as he kicked along the ground and got a free kick.
LDU's come from the ground and went straight down in the race, so he'll be having that concussion test.
Thanks, Eddie. So that has him out of action for about 20 minutes. You would think. Wide ball, Maley in the middle of it. Got a touch on it, but that was it. And get a ball in.
So, King, a good start for North Melbourne.
Good start, particularly in the midfield. I mean, they've won 15 clearances and scored 3 goals from those 15. That's where they're holding sway. Quick ball into Larkey's been their modus operandi, you would think the Dogs would respond.
Sherry, over to Kennedy, and Richards in close quarters. Spat out towards Bontempelli, kept it moving off the deck to Norton. Then Norton just dropped his lollies in the end, but Richards was there to pick them up. Then a wobbly one that's going to work though. West, still quick movement of the footy to Darcy. Not quite this time. And North able to retreat. Booming kick back into the middle of the ground. Sheasel couldn't mark it. Constanti grabbed it. Then Curtis. Curtis's kick inside 50. Larkey and lob. Larkey again. He's back on and back with another one. Four for Larkey, who's dominating at full forward for North. They just need him on the ground.
He can't move, Jack. He can't move, but he won't go off.
He's got a stiff leg on there, Kingy, but
He's got 4.
he's got 4 goals. Take this all the way back to the other end of the ground. And it was Dylan Stevens, the man who didn't need to get a touch on the ball, but he just needed to put that little element of doubt in Sam Darcy's mind. And from there, young Dawson, who was playing lead lane, was able to get it out. And this is on repeat. Paul Curtis to Nick Larkey. Just the connection between these two is so critical as to where this match sits at the moment. Nick Larkey, you cannot let him get out the back. He is so good at finding the back space on his defender, finding the most dangerous space, either to lead up or to get out the back there for goal number 4.
Oh, I'm telling Dennis to talk to Larkey and Curtis every week in the pre-match. Wheel him in.
Wheel him in.
We're headed for a 10-goal opening term the way we're going, maybe more. Richards slips it away to Johannesson. Back to Richards. Around his body, Kennedy. Waits for the bounce. Bontempelli. Saw McKerchik go. Pressure on the handball. West turned out of a jam. Feeds it further on. Kennedy. Sanders. Good sidestep. Not such a good kick. Great kick if you're North Melbourne. It's on the full. And those fans are extremely happy.
Well, they're thrilled because they're having a crack, the Kangaroos. +6 in contested possession. +6 in clearances. And it's Larkey and Curtis who are doing the damage in the forward half.
Out of Daniel, 16th game as a root. It's best and fairest for the Dogs in 2020. They fly, no mark, up against the boundary. Good solid work.
Feel like Finn Marley. He's good in the air. Like, he hasn't had a big game in terms of marks yet, but what he does is he actually allows Larkey to play that deeper forward. O'Malley is a battering ram in those long down the line contest, aerial contests. He just gives them another weapon and allows to play to Larkey's strengths a little bit more.
From the ruck, Richards, like a bit of soap, just couldn't quite pick it up. Foul out to Sheasel, McKercher. So they're running off the flank again here, North. Scott, just a little bit stagnant. Called to play on, long ball down the corridor. Maley in the wrong spot. Goes to ground, picked up by Simkin. Running out of time, but onto the left boot he goes towards that man again, Larkey. This could be 5 in a first quarter. This is something else.
Jose Maley again was the aerial contest. Simkin in exactly the right position.
Quite an extraordinary first quarter. Just not a believer in the theatre, Nick Larkey. Disappointing, puts it through for a behind. But what a start we've had to this Thursday night encounter. And as we head to quarter time, 9 goals we've seen in the first 30 minutes. It's North Melbourne leading by a goal. Of course, tomorrow night, so much riding on the footy tomorrow night. The arch rivals, Collingwood and Carlton from 6:30, but of course it's a double header as well with West Coast and the GWS Giants, and you'll see it all on Fox on a Friday night.
Hey, welcome in everybody. Of course, Thursday night football, and this is, well, let me say to the least, Eddie G, this is an unexpected start. North Melbourne 5-2-32, the Doggies 4-2-26. It's it's the Kangaroos by one straight kick, 6 points. This is fantastic for all the sides in the top 8. We'll have a look at the ladder in a minute for Addy G. Hey, Will Gibson, how you going, bro? If we lose, I'm going to crash out. No, don't do that. Don't do that. There we go. Santa, hey, I better just check in and say good day to, of course, Tina's in the live chat. Hello, Rose. Ryan was there. Good stuff. Of course, Emmanuel's there. Carly's there. We've got everyone coming in tonight to listen to this fantastic stuff, random stuff. There we go. Addy G, Will Gibson, good stuff. Live ladder now, 3:06. Before we go to the live ladder, Addy, I just wanted to bring in the ins and outs, which I didn't do prior to the game. And of course, for North Melbourne, they got a few changes in here. They must have had something on. They had some of the old timers down there. So that was good, giving them a bit of a pep talk before the game. Bailey Scott coming in, Finbar Maley, Will Phillips, Zane Dursma, Cooper Harvey coming in. So a lot of ins, a lot of outs. Luke McDonald, Luke Parker, Jack Darling, George Waddle, Zach Fisher. Tell you what, there's some decent outs there for the Kangaroos, but they're certainly holding up well. Robert Hanson Jr. is the sub, and of course for the Bulldogs, Caleb Puta, Riley Garcia, Taylor Durdia comes in for Sam Davison, Booker Kamas, James Harms. The sub is Lachlan McNeil, and of course the milestone game is for one of the stars of the Dogs. 250 games, Tom Liberatore. All right, there are your lineups. Let's have a look at the goals. There we go. We're only losing because we just cannot get a clearance or defend. Larky. I'll tell you in a second. Let's just quickly run through the goal scorers. Nick Larky, though, Holy Toledo Batman, 5 disposals, 5 kicks, 4 goals, 1. He should have kicked that goal after the siren. He was only about 15 metres out and probably a 40-degree angle. Should have slotted that one through, but just a little bit iffy kicking through the ball. There we go. Paul Curtis is the other goal scorer. And, of course, for the Dogs, Tim English started off well with 2. Vandermeer Liberatore got the goal. For the Ball Magnets out on the ground, well, Ed Richards leads the way for the Dogs on 9, 5 clearances. Colby McKercher on 9 for the Roos, 6 kicks, 3 handballs. Xera and Powell on 8. Kennedy on 8 for the Dogs. There we go. Let's just roll on down. 250 game player, Tom Liberatore. He's had 6 in the opening term, doing well. 3 and 3. He's had 1 mark, 7 tackles, 2 clearances and a goal. So a fantastic opening term from him. The Bont, just the 5 touches in the opening quarter. He had a left foot snap out of the pack, missed the goals and threw for behind. And, of course, one of the other stars there, Sam Darcy, he's only had 2 touches for the Dogs. 1 kick, 1 handball, 3 hit-outs and a behind. Dropped a mark there, which could have just about marked that. But I tell you what, we're only a minute and a half out. I tell you what, the Dogs came out. They kicked the first goal in 59 seconds. They put the next goal on within a minute. So within 2 minutes, the Dogs had 2 goals. And then it was all the Nick Larky show, putting on 3 straight goals there for the Kangaroos. Of course, Larky went off with, just had to go and get his knee wrapped. And of course, the Bulldogs got a couple of goals there. And then Larky back on the ground, snared another one. And North Melbourne did well, kicking the next 2 goals. It's a really good contested game. Look, I think North Melbourne, if they play this way for 4 quarters, that's a big if. If they can, there'll be a real chance in this game. I think one of the issues with North Melbourne is coming out of their back line, just not quite composed. They're not choosing the right targets, a little bit sloppy coming out of their defence, and that has caused the turnovers and given the Bulldogs opportunity to score. But, that being said, the Dogs still yet haven't had the game on their terms just at the moment. They're playing North Melbourne's way of style. They're playing a little bit of catch-up. But this is going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game. Let's hope North Melbourne can continue on their merry way and make this a real good game. Just have a quick look at the ladder. And, of course, that is the live ladder at the moment. If the Bulldogs don't win this, they'll remain in 7th position. Of course, Addy G's Fremantle will remain in 6th spot. And, of course, North Melbourne, if they happen to win this game, they'll jump up to 14th on 22 points for their 5th victory of the season if they can actually hold on. But, North Melbourne coming off a shellacking last week. They'll be looking to turn the tables, turn their form around in this game. Bulldogs in fine form as well, so should be in for a fantastic game. All right, let's head back down to the ground, and they'll take us into the bounce of the ball for the second quarter. Larky is absolutely dominating down there in forward. Good chance he could kick 10. All right, let's head back down to the action. It's Roos by 6 points.
Getting underway. Umpire's going to call that one back. So 4 goals, 1 for Larkey so far. He kicked 5 goals against the Dogs in the round 1 encounter here at Marvel earlier in the year. Tap down towards the Liberatore direction. He has to apply the tackle on Stevens.
What a great challenge for the Bulldogs as well on an emotional night for North Melbourne. They're challenged now and they've got to come up against a side that they think they should beat.
English towards Fraser. It was a hurried kick off a step and Logue was too good on that occasion to pick.
To Daniel. Inside kick, he put it off more than he could chew there. He went for Sheasel. Johannesson read his eyes. Norton's short, it's popped, and he's got it. That was on from a mile out, and Aaron Norton's lead into space was brilliant.
Just a coach killer, that one there, or a backline killer from Caleb Daniel. Missing that kick, coming out of the back half. He's got the 2v1 with McKercher, needs to use the left foot of McKercher there. The turnover came, and an easy lead up to Aaron Norton.
Sends it goalward. What kind of night is Aaron Norton going to have? So far, so good. And scores the level again.
Well, it's one of those kicks that can really affect the confidence of the back six, bringing the ball out. The Dogs are a forward half team. This is what they prey on. They swarm to this sort of opportunity. If you see it and you think you can get it, go. And Johannesson wastes no time. He just attacks. And then you're all at sea behind the ball. Pink has no location on Norton, and it becomes a relatively simple pass. Great conversion by Aaron Norton.
Rolly Garcia as well was the chase that just didn't give up on Caleb Daniel. He was the one that put the pressure on. Forced Caleb Daniel onto his left foot. And as a key forward, you just love those easy lead-ups. A great finish, as King mentioned.
We'll have news on Luke Davies-Uniacke shortly. Hanson Jr. is the sub for North. Powell, strong kick inside 50. Punched away by O'Donnell. Fell in the lap of Simkin. He got rid of it quickly. Sherry. Davies-Uniacke dispossessed. Liberatore came through. He lost it as well. And then the dump kick from Powell will work. Sheasel.
This is what you can do on Bailey Dale, I reckon. He's so offensively minded that he wants to get forward and remain in the play as it just sort of bobbles around. Harry Sheasel just popped out the back and it was a quick kick forward. Not meant for Sheasel, but just meant for territory, and it lands in his hands.
He's already had a sighter tonight. One behind. He's had 4 disposals. Harry Sheasel. 60th game of football. Starts it right. It looks pretty straight. They're fighting for it in the goal square, but the umpire's going to make a call on this.
Score review. Hold on one second. So this one, thank you. I believe it's a goal kick from the ball is over the line before it was touched. Score review. Umpire's call is a goal. Please confirm.
So the soft ball, the goal.
Review complete.
Tapped back
Looking
into
at this
play.
angle, we see the ball's crossed the back of the goal line before being
It's
touched.
nowhere near the line. It's going to be a goal. So, goal of the Roos. Fourth goal of the year for Harry Sheasel. And they put themselves in front by a goal as we've got some news with Eddie Betts.
Yes, Luke Davies-Uniacke has been subbed out with that concussion. So that's bad news for North Melbourne. Robert Hanson Jr. is warming up down here, so he gets his opportunity.
So that's horrific news, really, for North fans. He's a major weapon.
And Dwayne, this is how it happened. It was the fend off from Richards Kingy.
Yeah, he just put his head in an awkward position. It was going to make contact with Ed Richards at an awkward angle anyway. So it's just an accident we have in our game.
He had 28 possessions against Hawthorn last week, LDU, and 10 clearances. It's a big loss. Free kick, Curtis.
Well, English is going to have to change his ruck work. It's been dominated, and Sherry's just continuing to grab the ball out of the ruck.
So Curtis thinks he doesn't have the range, hits long and Finbar Marley got up there, just couldn't quite pull it down. It was all Finbar in the lead-up, but just couldn't quite complete the deal. And there is Luke Davies-Uniacke. Disappointment written all over his face, and there is Robert Hansen Jr. about to come on. Back into play. He's that Sherry English battle again. Stamp around the body by Harvey. Could almost mark his own kick. Sherry does mark it, not the required. Grab quickly, dispossessed, massive pack around it. Comes to the outside. Harvey straight to Bramble. Shoots it further on to Vandermeer. I want to get out and running. Scott cut it off. Fed it back inside. Caleb Daniel goes by hand this time. Harry Sheasel, good user. Spectacular again for Simpkin.
Well, Simpkin, he's trying to get to Ed Richards and trying to make him pay by getting forward off him.
I might have to get Dennis Pagan in for a halftime address as well. Can you, the way they've started in this?
I think him on the bench, I reckon, every time they come
Maybe.
off.
He'd be up for it, I reckon.
There is Alistair Clarkson. Jai Simpkin, another who's never been in the All-Australian squad of 40. Always threatened. What's their leader going to do? He leads it across the face. Fists go up. Garrison Crum crunched on the kick. Williams kind of kept it alive and then handballed into Simpkin. It's still alive. Umpire said, keep going, boys. A few of them stopped. It's a floater. Comes out to Hardiman. Logue, Poulter, got a piece of it. Vandermeer meeting that sandwich. Back to Kennedy. Shows some poise. Should be out of trouble from Williams. Back to Kennedy.
So labour intensive, but the Dogs think it through. Back to Liberatore. Liberatore, little chip kick, not the required. Vandermeer up against the line. Kick inside 50. Almost the one-hander from Darcy. Richards goes without it. Pink races after it. Daniel taken to ground by Polder. Picked up by Lowe. Taken to ground by Hines. The umpire crosses himself.
Only 2 touches to Sam Darcy's been well held by the North Melbourne backline.
So English pats it down to Dale. He's able to flick it back towards Hines. Manufactures something off the knee. Hansen Jr. overruns it. And North trying to clear, but it's a slew off the boot from Hardiman. And it's going to be brought back into play by Kennedy.
So Darcy leads. He's a hard man to outreach. Almost Poulter his own man. Spotted. Darcy pleading with the umpire that he brought it to ground should have been played. And there's a trip that has been played, so double whammy. Not only not a dog's ball as Sam Darcy pleads his case, but it's the Kangaroos who've got it. And they can relieve the pressure.
Constanti to Powell. Here's the replay.
Could have been an arm chop there.
Could have been.
Ball and subbed on Hansen Jr. Subbed on earlier than he probably thought he was going to be.
Can't kick this down the line. He's got a mismatch. So Donald on Cooper Harvey.
Oh, up they go. In from the side. Zerha's given away a free kick. Clarkey was almost off to the races. Free kick to Lob.
Deemed an unrealistic leap if you didn't hear the umpire at home. Lob. A mongrel. Mark that. And Phillip, in fact, Powell does. Sheasel. McKercher. Handball smothered. Back to the Shees. Daniel. Bonapelli got a hand in the way. Trouble now. Polder feeds it out. They cut from left, right and centre. Sheasel went down low. Umpire put the whistle away. Sanders. Bonapelli. Kennedy from Vandermeer. Shrugs the attempted tackle. Waits for Dale on the flyby. And goes all the way home. He's a superstar on the rise. Bailey Dale.
Oh, Constanti done a great job tagging this man, keeping him out of the game. And he had 2 disposals at quarter time, but he's just got away from him there. He's such a presence. Super aggressive halfback. As soon as you give him a metre or two, he's gone. Good hustle, good pressure here from the dog mids.
Just the value of the handball as well. It was Sheasel who had one through the middle and just gave the handball straight away. Didn't take the man out. Exactly what they do here to open up Bailey Dale. He gets a clear kicking air to be able to go and kick that goal. North Melbourne had the same opportunity. They just give the handball straight away and actually don't take the man on the mark or the man putting the pressure on out of the game.
Big missed tackle from Hanson.
Bailey Dale, somewhere between a rising star and 171 games to be an overnight success. So it comes out to Stevens, who was grabbed by the bot, came out to Sheasel. Sheasel on the right boot, Soha leads. Good mark. Almost had his name written on it before the previous player kicked the ball. Zerha's kick towards the pockets. Where's Larky? Larky's got it! He's got it! He's taking everything.
Well, I'm not sure why Bontempelli wasn't rewarded for the run-down tackle on the wing. But that being said, this man is on fire.
So what a story he's been so far with the 4 goals. There's a niggle. He comes around with the banana. 100 years of history, but we see ourselves a modern bag early.
So goal number 5 for Nick Larkey. Paul Curtis has given him a couple of them by foot. He's been able to He's been the one to kick it out the back, but here he's free to Bontempelli, or not free to Bontempelli.
That's a run down.
He kicked it. He got a slight.
Sliced it, did he?
Just a slight slither, but you can see Curtis comes back here to engage lob. They know they want the mismatch. It's Caulfield on Larkey now, so just that small bit of play, team play, and then Curtis takes lob out of it and allows Larkey to get the easy mark on the undersized undersized back, in Caulfield. That's that relationship that we're talking to between the small forward and the tall forward. They need each other so much.
9 goals, his best ever. For Nick Larkey, he's got 5. With a ton of time to add to that. He's on one leg. Back in the middle. Darcy and Finn Barmali go at it. To second rucks, and mentioned there's been some superstar players, some great administrators, current, days gone by. Bob Ansett was in the house earlier. Great to see so many being recognised tonight that have contributed to this fantastic North Melbourne Footy Club. Vandermeer got it up. Garcia weaved his way around a couple, and Pink stood in the hole. Took a good grab.
Pink to the wing. Lob works his way up the ground with also Larkey. They bring it down, and eventually out of play. Hardiman makes sure of that. And the North fans on that side of the ground loving it.
Kangaroos lead the clearances 2012. Smashing them in contested possessions 55-39.
Darcy looked like a shallow throw in by hand to West. Inboard he goes. Garcia had to beat one. Stolen away. Harvey grabbed by Hines and a ball up.
So this is all an attitude. This is one team coming in thinking, okay, we're playing the Kangaroos Thursday night, we can get this done. And even the commentators talking about how many Darcy going to kick. It can seep in.
Yeah, there's more than 4 points on offer for North. It's about club pride. High bomb. Lowe got there from 4 deep. Skipped his knuckles. Vandermeer back inside 50 to Norton. The astronaut gets up.
Yeah, you got Toby Pink there as well. With the leading knee, Aaron Norton, one of the best jumpers in the game, was on the back pattern and then came back up at the footy, and that is just a knee right to the midriff of Toby Pink. Darcy hasn't been an issue forward of the ball for the Kangaroos, but this man here is starting to become one.
See the concentration in his eyes as he struts in. He slots it and settle in. This is evolving into a classic. Seven goals apiece, and we're only halfway through the second.
It's a tough night for defenders out there. I mean, the conversion's huge. 1 in every 3 entries for the Dogs becoming a goal. 1 in just over every 2 for the Kangaroos. So just there you can see that dominant front position from Dawson. When you're within a quick surge kick range, you just cannot be in front. You've got to be behind. You've got to be able to locate your opponent in Norton and keep your eye on the ball at the same time.
Running himself into no man's land a little bit there once he came up at that contest. There's that contact again. LDU been subbed out with concussion symptoms.
English goes himself, then just gave it to Liberatore, who had it for a long time. Stevens runs onto the football. He's looking for McKercher. Handball had to be accurate, and now a little bit of mopping up to do, and they do it well. Sherry standing start. Wobbly one, but it's a bit who-to. Bouncing football, a precarious one. Picked up by Williams. They grabbed him. Coming through was Phillips. Liberatore. Quick fire handball to Duray, Garcia, and now Kennedy in the middle. And up the corridor towards that man, Norton again. Is it going to sit up for him? Pink with the fists. It's out of play. Is it insufficient intent? Yes, it is.
Yeah, you can't do that, Toby. Sorry. West can't mark it. Has to be a marking contest for you to be able to knock it clean out of bounds like that. Phillips, here they come on the rebound to Powell. He launches. O'Donnell will get back. Take the saving grab, but it's being played at a breakneck pace at the moment, this contest.
Very straight as well at the moment from both clubs. As soon as they get that turnover, they're straight back the other way. They need to create an angle, come to the other side of the ground just to bypass the opposition's defence.
Sanders, Williams barely the required. Called to play on. Long penetrating ball. English and Norton are both there. Off hands it goes with the crumbs. Stevens zigs and then zags and then dumps it long again. In from the side. Punched away from Dersma. Liberatore scraps the kick away. Hot football to be won at the moment. Hardiman grabbed by Dale. And he's pinged him.
Yeah, they've just got to top here, the Dogs. Kangaroos have lost their composure. Norton's the one. He is hunting this ball hard inside 50.
English is inside 50 as well. Kick to the pocket, that Norton low pink direction, and Toby has become a bit of a cult hero for North fans.
Early body there from Toby Pink on Aaron Norton. He's got him at the critical moment, took the jump away from Norton, got that dominant position, a really important intercept mark.
A sky ball, Hines underneath it. Spoilt by Phillips, and it stacks on.
Dogs have taken away the uncontested mark game, forcing the Kangaroos straight and long, winning the ball back at will.
Scores level. What's been an entertaining contest so far. Sherry's ball bobbled off the chest out to Liberatore. Up they go. Poulter went the fist. Vandermeer with 2 to beat. Logue picks the football up, looks further afield with zest, and then kick out towards the wing. Constanti back with the flight of the ball north of building.
Zerha's pushed back hard. He goes inside to Harvey. Chip kick. Powell. Zerha now manned up, but they want to get it to him if they can. McKercher loads up. He won't get there, Zerha, but he might crumb it. Hits the deck, race on. Scott turned inside, hammers it. Maley through his hands. Harvey! Outside of the boot. Didn't work.
He had options there. I know he's keen, Cooper, to kick his first, but he had Hanson on the fly, charging back towards goal.
Was his dad record games holder for North?
His dad would have had the shot too.
Kick out to Dale, received it from Caulfield. Inboard to Kennedy. Was pinched, almost pinched by Sheasel. So a little bit of work to do off half back here for the Dogs. Now Sanders can steady. Plenty of noise around Marvel Stadium. more than just 4 points on offer for North Melbourne. So much pride around the stadium after 100 years of history. Pink and
Oh, he picked it. Yeah, the second tap, the touch. He just tapped it out.
So insufficient intent. Hines has the football. Kick in the Norton direction. Hansen at the back. Free kick goes to North.
That's a big win there for Hartman. It's a much taller, much stronger Aaron Norton to win the free kick back. Gives them a chance to work their offense from the back half.
McKercher to Scott. McKercher messing with it. Hardeman. Christ. West went hard.
Jared Healy be throwing something at the television right now. Just fundamentals, basic handball skill. Just two complete misses there.
So Norton leads to the pocket, and they go to the hot hand. Now, has he held that inside the field of play? Umpire says yes. Little juggle. Norton.
On his left here, Norton too.
Always promised to have a breakout All-Australian season. Another yet to ever make the squad of 40, but he is a class act when he's on. Got 3.
They're not happy, the Kangaroo fans just in front of Aaron Norton there. They feel this was out of bounds and by some way. It's a quality finish. What a game.
Just see the lead here from Norton, sort of just playing a bit of possum there, and then but to market. I mean, he's got Pete coming back in front of him. Griffin Logue thinking that the ball went out of bounds, but the concentration and courage just to go there again, especially from Pete and Norton. I think he probably controlled it the whole way through. Griffin Logue saying he bobbled it, but this here, though, that's just a critical handball, missed. But Riley West, the tackle from Riley West, fantastic.
And Griffin Logue again, he's asleep at the start of the lead. And that's the 2 metres that costs him. It was a problem last week against the Hawks. It's a problem again tonight.
And Nick Larkey kicks 4 in the first quarter. Aaron Norton's got 3 in this quarter. Good to see some key forwards kicking big goals.
English flies early. Sherry held his ground. High handball. Bramble runs onto it. Quick hands. Sanders under enormous pressure. Got rid of it legally. Going through was Johannesson. Hot football to win again. And a ball up.
Game certainly lifted here. The intensity from both sides. The Dogs have been challenged. The big occasion for North Melbourne. They've responded though.
English down only as far as Daniel. Daniel's kick to the top of the square. Larkey not quite in position. Lobb was in the right spot. And intercepts and then exits D50. Kick to Fraser.
Only disposal 2 for Fraser, the hero of last week.
Having a brilliant season. Still second year. He missed qualification this year for the Rising Star by 3 games. He played 13 last year. Had he played 10, he'd arguably be the favourite for the Rising Star, Joel Fraser. Bontempelli free.
Darcy calling for the ball high and wide.
Bont. And he goes to... So he went late to English. He looked as if he was planning to go elsewhere, and then after he fooled everyone like a quarterback, he went to English. He goes toward West, and Hardeman might have, in fact, West into Hardeman as opposed to Hardeman into West. So Hardeman free kick.
Just took his legs out from under him here. You can see Riley West thinking he'd body up, take the back position and run onto the ball. Gave away the free kick. Tim English pushing wide now on Tristan Sherry to take him away from the long contest.
5 minutes to go in the second term. Long ball, 3-on-3. Maley at the back. Hanson Jr. gliding through the pack. Hoping for Curtis. Sits up for him. Zerha blazing through the middle. Long ball. Fake and goal square. How does it bounce? It bounces straight and true. North Melbourne back in front.
Gee, it's a big contest on the wing from Maley, just to get the ball to the front, the predictable drop zone, and the Kangaroos were onto it. Fantastic work from Hanson, just to step back inside and pop the handball under pressure to Curtis. And everything that Curtis touches is turning to goal. Don't know whether he could have chipped that to his old mate Larkey. No, he's not moving real well.
Better running back to goal.
Absolutely. They're hanging around the Kangaroos. They're making it difficult for the Dogs.
Their front and square craft has been fantastic tonight. The Kangaroos beating the Bulldogs to the front, outnumbering in their layers. That craft aspect of the game has been excellent as well. If it gets past the first layer, the second layer is coming through to support the aerial contest, and that's what's keeping them in it, keeping the flow in their game, the Kangaroos.
You get there, Jono, you've got to be clean as well. They were clean there. Hanson Jr. and then Curtis as well with a clean ground ball.
Bulldogs games record holder Brad Johnson downstairs. 8 goals apiece. North back in front. Richards went off the deck and it might work. Liberatore feeds it back. The 0-1-2. But not the goal to go with it. So as we approach half-time, scores are level at 51 apiece. Beautiful stage being set here.
Dale. Daniel Rather, long ball outside 50. And Bontempelli and also O'Donnell over the top. Maley picking himself up.
Tristan, Tim.
So Sherry goes himself, as he's done so many times already tonight. Dersma just shouldered off the football.
So crafty, Tristan Cherry. He's taking Tim English's right arm at the moment, forcing English to tap with his left and freeing up his own. Closes the space up. He wants to keep this distance between him and Tim English as close as possible.
So true centre wing in front of the dugouts. Sherry this time with the big fist progresses it 7 or 8 metres. Maley and then too high. Kennedy on a very hard-working Harvey.
It's been good. Cooper, 8th disposal upcoming.
Harvey piercing ball towards the top of the square. No mark taken. Hanson Jr. went without it. Sheasel, Simkin, Stevens off a step, smothered by Richards. Johannesson round the corner. And a good strong mark, O'Sullivan.
Got to think his way through this. Can he find a possession inside?
Bailey leads to the pocket. Larkey about to jump if he can. All slapped away from both sets of hands. Ball in.
Yeah, this is where you're going to be really careful of Tristan Sherry grabbing the ball out of the ruck. He'll take him as far back as he can and make it a foot race in.
So 2 number 1 rucks go at it. A wrestle. Sherry down. Oh, perfect palm to Zerha. Just couldn't collect it on the run. Kennedy floats it away. Hits the deck. Darcy's second effort was superb. Gets up and goes. Hits the Bont with the handball to Kennedy. Float pass is good. Inside to Hines. Does he want to go? Put it to grass. And now the Kangaroo players get around it.
On the ball.
Grabbed it in.
To see the little arm popped out there and just grabbed it in, knowing that the Bulldogs are on the fly.
Garcia all on his own. Fraser, plenty of room to move here. Then a little chip to Norton.
What a kick. What a kick. It's a man in really good form. Fraser's just seeing everything. Norton's been terrific tonight. His work rate forward to the ball to consistently present and provide a leading option. Just here, just made it easy in the end. The kick did all the work.
So 7 disposals, 3 goals so far for Aaron Norton. And just flirts with the right goalpost and slams it into the woodwork. Puts the Dogs in front by 1.
This is one part of the game that North have struggled a little bit, getting out of their own D50 from kick-ins. It's the long kick out of bounds to a half is a win for them at the moment, dominating the clearance game.
It's really the only way the Dogs are scoring. Kangaroos turning the ball over in this facet here.
So Lloyd got it from McKercher. Maley got up there. O'Donnell with the spoil. Williams the crumb. English wobbles it to the 50, and that's a good float in and a great grab by Hines, who's showing a lot. Inside kick to Bontempelli. As good as the mark was, the kick was superb. He just dropped it in a rubbish bin. And the Bont It almost had the last say of the half.
How good are the youngsters in the air? You've got that one from Cooper Hines, of course, but then up this end before you had Finn O'Sullivan for the Kangaroos taking a big contested mark. The aerial battle has been huge tonight.
Sneaky good protection there from Ed Richards too in the air. Knew that was Bontempelli's ball the whole way.
One of the competition's all-time greats. With a minute left at half-time. He's a big moment man as well, the Bont. In game 251.
Just another forward half turnover for the Bulldogs. An excellent contested mark by Cooper Hines. You can see Tim English just getting his foot on the ball. This here coming in as that third man in, knowing that you're going to have a sit. And then the use of the ball inside 50.
He's just a contest winner, this kid, Hines. He had 10 disposals last week, all of them won in a contest. He's really taken some giant strides over the last few weeks. He's become a real contributor for Luke Beveridge.
7 goals, 2 for a turnover from the Bulldogs. They're just prying on, especially when the ball's deep in North Melbourne's D50. A lot of that's been kick out, kicking it short to the pocket. The Bulldogs trapping them and exposing them on the other side of the ground on re-entry.
Less than a minute to play in the first half. Quick work again from English, who skies it towards 50. Was that a push? Certainly was. Dawson's going to come up with the free.
Sense that Sam Darcy's starting to get frustrated.
So hurried work, and they've coughed it up as Richards is going to probe it long again to Norton. And after all of the hard work for North in the first half, Norton's looking to put them to the sword.
He stayed in the fight, Darcy. Okay, you've been beaten, but you can put pressure on from the man on the mark there. Look at that. Throws his body across the boot.
Norton plays on round the body. Crowd behind the goals love it. Fist pump. He's kicked 4. The shootout under the bright lights continues.
Yeah, that's awesome from Sam Darcy. He's been unsighted really in this game so far. Dawson's done a terrific job. They've had 33 inside 50s, and he's yet to kick a major. That had to be Powell's ball. He had to go hard and low and make the focus fairly and squarely the football. But that there I just love. Okay, it's not your night, but you can still assist this team in scoring. And we've talked enough about Norton. He's on fire.
Ed Richards might be the cleanest player at ground level at speed. Like just, he's borderline a missile the way he picks the ball up off the ground and just does not break stride. And you can see clean players are good players. And on nights like tonight where you need to be clean and make sure that you can make other players better by your cleanliness, he just does it with spades.
And I think they have to move Sheasel down back. They need some skill down back, the Kangaroos, in the second half.
So the final stages of the first half, another clearance for the Dogs. Richards with a long ball gives them some sort of a chance. And there is the siren. So a terrific first half of football. That man, Sam Darcy, goalless so far. But on the other side of the coin, Nick Larkey with 5 and Aaron Norton with 4. As we head to the main break, it's the Western Bulldogs leading by 13 points. And as I mentioned, Sarah Jones, it's been an entertaining first half so far.
Maddie, it certainly has. It has been an absorbing contest. Jason Dunstall and Lee Montagna, what have you made of it so far? They certainly responded to Dennis Pagan's pre-game address.
They did plenty of attack. I don't know how much defending's going on, but I mean, 64 to 51 at half-time. That's extraordinary scoring. And North, have, to their credit, they've come out after a slow start because the Bulldogs went bang-bang at the beginning of the game. North have got themselves in the contest, but there's still some worrying signs with some of the mistakes that they make.
It's been fun to watch. I mean, we've had a shootout and we're enjoying the spectacle. But North Melbourne just late gave up a couple. But this is what we wanted really from North Melbourne, to be in the game at half-time, to give themselves a chance. But as Jason almost alluded to, I don't think both coaches will be pleased with the way they're defending their back 50.
Well, as we saw before the game, Dennis Pagan, the legendary premiership coach, addressed the team in place of Alistair Clarkson. It was a special moment. Let's relive it.
Everyone who ran out put his body on the line. I want to see you blokes do that tonight. You look at it. I had a look at Hawthorn last week. And I can tell you what, a lot of you blokes have got a bit to answer for. Tonight, you make sure that you're hard at the ball, you're hard at the man with the ball, you tackle and chase, you put pressure on your opponent, no daydreaming, just go for it, you, your best shot.
What a speech.
He didn't pull punches. I love that. I watched last week, and a lot of you blokes got a bit to answer for. He put it on them.
And the first 2 minutes, it didn't look good. I mean, the Dogs went bang, bang, and everyone sort of went, oh, please, don't be like this. But to their credit, they responded really well. They got after the Bulldogs. They got themselves into the contest and really enjoyed the first half.
Nick Larkin's first quarter exceptional. Should have kicked 5. Missed one on the siren.
He certainly should have. So Dennis was obviously referring to the horrible performance against Hawthorn down in Tassie last week. Their pressure, their effort and their clearance was so much better to begin with.
It was, and that's where, if they are a chance to win this game, that's where it needed to be, around the coalface. It has been the Kangaroos' strength when they have played really well this year, their contest and clearance work, Jason, and their pressure game. And they got after it. I thought it was exceptional. You could see them swarm, the intent around the footy, their clearance and inside work was excellent. And I was really enjoying what they were able to produce, particularly late in that, or right up until late in the first half.
Well, we can have a look at the numbers there. The turnaround from last week, quite stark, Joey. They couldn't replicate those numbers again and have any hope of even being competitive.
No, that's right. As we said, this was their strength and they were able to do this, and it's given them a chance. And we'll talk about, well, their issue has been them turning the ball over out of their back half. It's been deplorable, really, some really lazy and poor kicks. But this part of their game has been strong. If they can continue this, Jason, they'll give themselves a chance.
Well, if you're winning contested possession and clearances and scores from clearances, you're doing a hell of a lot right. So let's hope they can see it out for another half.
All right, a Harvey Norman highlight surround Nick Larkey. 4 goals in the opening half. He's kicked another one to make it 5. He really should have kicked 5 in that opening term. And Jace, the amount of goals he got almost within the goal square. His marking, his work in the air was great.
Started with a good contested mark there. He only had the 5 possessions, and it should have been 5 straight goals. Gets a good kick here from Paul Curtis over the top. And he really had O'Donnell in all sorts of trouble early on, so much so that they made the switch and put Rory Lobb onto him. He just looked to be marking everything, and if he didn't mark it, he was first to jump on the loose ball. That's terrific to get back there, to track the ball, to follow, get your own front. You can see him a little bit proppy there. He went off the ground, came back with the knee heavily strapped. It was a good comeback because they needed him out there, Joe.
Yeah, and it's a favourable matchup. I think they really like it. I mean, him and Curtis are the two that look like they can win the game for North Melbourne if they can just get enough ball in their forward 50. And I mean, even with the sore knee, he's still able to produce and be able to outwork it. Still an issue for the Western Bulldogs. Kiggy's been bang on about it. Their D50 and their keepers and players can still get exposed, and Nick Larkey's been able to take advantage.
Jace, talk to us about the ruck battle. We've got 2 very different players, both excellent ruckmen, but different strengths to their game.
Yeah, and we saw Tristan Sherry have a fantastic first half. I mean, these numbers are exceptional. He's had 15 touches himself, 11 of them contested, and 5 clearances, which has been a big part of why they've been so good at the stoppage battle. But he didn't have it all his own way because it was Tim English that was able to go forward and kick 2 goals in that first quarter. And in particular, the first one, he's just using his athleticism. So they go for the contest there. And you see Tim English just bolts, and Tristan Sherry's just a little slow to get to him. And when English sees him with a 5-metre break, he goes, I'll just keep going. And the kick's not even meant for him, but he tracks it. And that's a terrific mark. Courageous coming across the front of the pack. He kicks the goal. He ended up with a couple, but he needed to do that because Sherry's right on top of him.
Let's head to ground level where Brad Johnson and Eddie Betts are watching everything unfold. What about the Bulldogs key forwards? Aaron Norton is having a big say on proceedings, Jono.
Oh, he certainly is, Sarah, and it really did start last week. He recaptured some form against the Sydney Swans. He was involved in a lot of aerial contests and got himself on the scoreboard, and it has continued tonight as well, Ed, with a strong first half.
Yeah, well, he's kicked 3 goals in 12 marks last week, and now it's continued on. And what he's doing, he's always on the move, Jono. He's keeping his defenders to the back of him. He's getting out, he's getting back, and he's presenting. And just show here, like he's leaping at it. To come in here and just put a knee to Toby King is one of their best defenders. That's going to hurt. And he's accurate. He's kicking goals.
Well, both teams are accurate tonight, isn't it? When you look at the scoreboard, it's 18 goals, 7 between the 2 teams. And Nick Larkey's leading the way, as is for North Melbourne, as is Aaron Norton for the Bulldogs. And we've been watching Sam Darcy as well, because he has been a little bit frustrated in that first half. He got checked off the ball. He's been talking to the umpires a fair bit around the way he's been adjudicated out there. This one in particular he wasn't happy with as well. And it's clearly a free kick again. So they're the type of ones, the clear ones, Ed, that need to be paid by the umps.
There is. He's the tallest man out there, and he's reaching right up in. If you can't see that, it's either top of the arms or a high free kick there. So that's one missed by the umpires.
Well, he'll be in for a big second half. We know that, Sarah.
Thank you, Jono and Eddie. Into the newsroom, John Rolfe. Luke Davies-Uniacke out of the game with concussion. How did this all unfold?
Oh, this game tosses up something new every single week. We'll show you this incident. The $9 million man in LDU concussed and out of this contest for this high fend. Look, LDU will miss against Melbourne. He has got a concussion history, one in 2022 after a tackle with Willie Riola here. It's a clear high fend. It's clearly a free kick for me. Only a football accident, though. I don't think it's worthy of MRO scrutiny. You certainly can't elbow a player in the head, even when they put their head in an awkward position. There he is, a rather disconsolate player, had been fantastic in the first half, but it's not rough conduct. It's not really a high bump. Guys, what's your analysis of a really weird decision there or a really weird outcome?
Well, it's not even a free kick for mine. I know the arm catches him a little bit, but he's got his eyes on the footy and he's just received it. He turns around and there's a player there. That's the initial reaction of it. He hasn't jumped up. He hasn't gone high. I think it's poor tackling technique. You tackle with the shoulder, not the head. And he's just got himself in an uncomfortable position. But in slow motion, it looks bad. It doesn't hit him with the elbow. That's the forearm just pushing off. But, I mean, he's down low, Ed Richards. So
Yeah.
I don't know what we expect the guy with the ball to do.
Unfortunate for LDU, but absolutely nothing to see here. This will not go any further. It's unfortunate he's going to miss next week as well. But we know the clubs now take all the care with concussion. But there will
And we don't like seeing anyone get concussed.
Of course not. No, but sometimes it's going to happen on a football field.
Correct.
And unfortunate for LDU, but nothing at all.
All right, we still have a big second half still to come here at Marvel Stadium. Tomorrow night, a double-header, Carlton and Collingwood. Friday night for the On Fox kicks off from 6:30pm, and then we head west. The Giants desperately need to win this one against the Eagles to keep in touch with the top 8.
You're watching
All right, there we go. Half time. It's the Bulldogs by 13 points. 10-4-64. North Melbourne 8-3-51. I tell you what, you got to love the accurate kicking we got going on here tonight. Of course, what is that? 18 goals, 7 combined for the both teams. That's what we like to see. None of this missing all the time and kicking like 4 goals, 12. This is great kicking, great accuracy of this game tonight. Hey, Paul in Asia, what's going on, brother? Hope everything's going well over there in the beautiful land of Thailand. Tell you what, it's a great game so far, Carly. Absolutely great game. So scared of Larky kicking so many goals, says Will, but I tell you what, Aaron Norton, I tell you what, he's doing a job down there for the Dogs in that second term. 4 goals and looking really, really good, especially with Sam Darcy. Not really in the game at the present moment, but, we'd expect him to come into the game at some point in time. So I think that's one good thing. One of the defenders are doing on Sam Darcy, doing a great job down there. But I tell you what, the errors of the defenders down there in North Melbourne, it's when they're bringing the ball out of their defensive 50, they're just making some errors. The turnovers are giving the ball back to the Dogs and allowing the Dogs to score. That's probably what that's probably why the Dogs are in front at the moment. But all other aspects of the game for North Melbourne, they're doing really well. Doing really well. They look dangerous every time they go down forward. So you've got to be happy with the way North Melbourne's playing tonight. The big question, though, folks, is can North Melbourne sustain this for 4 quarters? They've done it for 2 quarters. Now they've got to come over to the second half, reset, and continue to do exactly what they're doing. Continue their pressure, their good, fast play, and you know what? Get the ball down to Larky. He's kicked 5. That's what we're going to go and do right now, is just go and have a look at the player stats and the goal scorers. So it's like a shootout here at Marvel Stadium. We've got Nick Larky for the North Melbourne Kangaroos down one end. He's kicked 5 goals, 1 from his 6 kicks. We've got Zerha kicking a goal with Schneasel and Curtis for North, and of course for the Doggies. Woof, woof. We've got Aaron Norton down the other end, kicking 4 goals, 1 for his 7 kicks. I tell you what, he certainly looked pretty dangerous in that second term. I tell you what, she's pretty hard to keep under control, Norton and Darcy down there together. One of them is normally going to be let off the leash, so to speak, pardon the pun, but that's the way it is down at the Dogs. They're hard to stop. Ting English, he's got a couple for the Dogs. Vandermeer with one, Libber with one, and Dale Bontempelli also got singles there for the Dogs. I tell you what, it's fantastic. I'm liking the way they're kicking tonight. So accurate. All right, let's have a look at the ball magnet for the disposals out there. Colby McKercher, 17 for the Roos, 12 kicks, 5 handballs, 5 marks, tops the table. Matty Kennedy tops the table for the Bulldogs on 16 possessions, 8 and 8, 3 clearances, doing well. Xeria on 15 there for the Roos. Richards, 15 there for the Doggies. There we go. Let's just roll down. The milestone man, Todd Liberatore, in his 250th. He's going quite well, playing a reasonably good game there for the Dogs. 13 touches. He's had 7 kicks, 6 handballs, 2 marks. He's tackling well, so as he does, he always puts the pressure on. 3 clearances and a goal, so he's had a pretty good opening half. Harry Sneezelo, come on, Harry, lift your game a little bit. Just the 12 disposals. 1 goal, 1. Still like a little bit more out of him. Caleb Daniel, I'll tell you what, he's made a couple of errors so far coming out of defensive 50. We need to see him, make the right decision and all that type of thing and execute the ball well. The Bont, he's thereabouts with his 10 touches. He's had 5 tackles, so he's putting a bit of pressure on too. 1 goal, 1 for him. Aaron Norton, 9 disposals, 7 kicks, 2 handballs. Well, I think he's, what's the name? My gosh, what's his name again? Let me just get back to it. Nick Larkey, that's right. Nick Larkey. I think Nick Larkey's got the win so far at half time over Rory Lobb there. Oh, there we go. I tell you what, that took a bit of memory, didn't it? Riley West, a little bit quiet in that second term, good opening term. He's just up to 8. Needed him doing a little bit more also for the Doggies. Let's just roll on down a little bit. Bailey Dale just with the 7. There we go. For the Dogs, 1 goal. He's also kicked, as I say, Nick Larkey. He's kicked a handful there for the Kangaroos. 6 touches, all kicks, 5 marks, 5 goals. 1 should have been 6 goals, but still, nonetheless, 5 goals. 1 is fantastic there. Tim English still on his 2 goals there from the opening term. Who else we got there to show everyone? Sam Darcy, there's a play that, he's taken the game by storm in recent weeks. But to tell you what, he's been well held by the Kangaroos defensive there, and they'll definitely want to keep this up in the second half. They don't want to let him off the leash. He's just had the 4 touches. Just the 1 kick for the one behind. 3 handballs, 1 mark, and 3 headouts. So a really, really quiet game from Sam Darcy tonight, which is fantastic news for all the North Melbourne supporters. Looking at the team stats now, I thought she'd be pretty even there. 163, 167. There we go. It's plus 11 there to the Bulldogs. We've only got just over 4 minutes to go before the bounce of the ball for the third quarter here at Marvel Stadium in what is going to be a fantastic second half. Of course, 7 degrees here in Melbourne. That's right, folks. You heard it. 7 degrees Celsius. So it's a chilly night. And just as well, they're playing this game under the closed roof. So it probably won't be as chilly inside the stadium. There we go. It's just plus 4 kicks to the Doggies and plus 7. So the disposal count on both teams pretty tight. Inside 50s, well, there we go. The Dogs had a bit more in that second term. 24 inside 50s for North Melbourne's 11 scoring shots. 34 inside 50s for 14 scoring shots for the Bulldogs. And, of course, as you see, North Melbourne are pretty well on average there for their inside 50 count. They do pretty well. 8 goals, so every 1 in 3 times they get inside their forward 50, they are snaring the goals. Pretty much similar to the Doggies, 1 in 3.4, going a little bit above season average of their inside 50s. Both the disposal efficiency pretty good for both teams, 73, 78%, and of course efficiency inside 50, pretty good there for North Melbourne at 54.2%. Free kicks, well, I think the umpires are umpiring this, well, reasonably well. I did give 1 or 2, deliberate out of bounds, so forth like that, but I think all in all, It's been pretty well umpired so far in this opening half, and let's hope they continue to do this in the second term, because we do like a good game from the umpires umpiring well. Hit-outs, well, that's all tied up at 18 apiece. Clearances, North Melbourne, well, they're on top in these departments. Clearances 23-18, they're +5. There we go. It's +1 out of the centre clearances. Are both mids are doing quite well there. Just a +1 to North Melbourne. Stoppage clearances +4 to North as well, doing well. Right on season average there for their stoppage clearances, North Melbourne. Whereas the Bulldogs, they are well under that by about 25%, 30% there they need to lift. Contested possessions, well, it's a reasonably well contested game, as we were saying, folks. 74-65, it's +9 to North Melbourne. Uncontested, well, look, you know, I think the Bulldogs, they were just chipping it around a little bit more shallower, whereas North Melbourne going a little bit longer, hence why the +23. And uncontested possessions, the turnovers, North Melbourne, under season average, but I'll tell you what, the problem with these turnovers, they're happening coming out of the fence, and that was the issue, because they turned the ball over there, like in the forward 60 for the Bulldogs, and that was just allowing the Bulldogs to get the ball back, slot it straight bang into 50. The Bulldogs people, well, they're taking the mark and having shots on goal, scoring, and that was the bit of a downfall there for North Melbourne in their turnovers. The Dogs, however, on 26, fantastic, really low turnover count for them tonight, so they should be reasonably happy there. The marking department, not a great deal in that. It's just +5 marks to the Dogs and +2 marks inside forward 50 to the Dogs. Good to see. Both teams just about on season average, so they're creating space both sides in their forward 50. You know, and I think that's where they were saying on commentary, maybe both coaches won't be too happy the way they're defending, but it's great to see the forwards creating space, working for each other, and getting those marks inside 50. And more importantly, kicking straight when they do get that opportunity, taking their chances, putting it through the goals, because that's what you're going to do. If you miss, the other team's going to take the opportunity against you. 7 and 9 contested marks, both just about on average there. Fantastic there. Tackle count. Let's have a little bit of a look at the tackle count. A little bit surprising when I see North Melbourne trailing the Dogs 29-41, +12 there to the Dogs. Dogs doing really well. I'll tell you what, North Melbourne, they brought good pressure around the ground from what I've seen anyway, so all doing well there. So I don't think we can complain too much about that. I've liked what I see. Tackles inside 50. Of course, their forwards doing really well, both teams. 8 North Melbourne, 7 to the Bulldogs, tackles inside 50. So that is fantastic. All right, let's just have a little bit of a look at the live ladder now. This is the live ladder, folks, the live ladder at halftime. If we turn that ladder off, of course, we see prior to this game, the Western Bulldogs sitting 7th, but if we turn the live ladder on and they end up winning this game, they'll jump up in the 4th spot. So that's, you know, they've got a fair bit riding on this game. All right, that's enough for me talking. Let's head back down to the ground. There we go. For the third quarter, it's the Dogs by 13 points.
English had to do some chasing after that one. Cherry, his ball intercepted. Stevens grabs it, bobbles around on the ground. Simkin comes out towards McKercher. Vandermeer scrapping forward as well with Phillips. Eventually, Daniel got boot to ball. Scrubby kick. Oh, Richards went in hard, went in really hard, and it's come off second best, unfortunately.
Gee, that was hard from Zerha. That's straight out of the Dennis Pagan playbook, that. Take the ball or take a body. He's in real trouble, Ed Richards. It's coming from the ground.
All legal. He was attacking the ball. It was a straight line. He didn't veer off to take body. Bonampelli. It's been a game on from the outset here. Frazier floats it. Darcy's from 3 deep. There's a free kick and it's going to Dawson. Got a big job tonight. Will Dawson, it's a heavy number to carry with the great Wayne Carey in the house. the number 18, as we see Richards go downstairs to get that check.
So far doing his job, though, with Darcy contained to one behind.
That's a huge story, Ed Richards going downstairs. He's their number one man this season. He's been their best midfielder for the course of the year.
So Daniel, kick to the congestion, lob at the front, spoilt by Larkey, who hit the deck hard. Kennedy, back from where it came. Norton wrestles for it. Off hands, Daniel scampering at the back of the pack. Oh, it's a worrying handball through Stevens under the bus. Immediately grabbed. It'll be a ball up at close range.
Got to admire Nick Larkey as well. Clearly not 100%. He's fighting through this too. So both sides with superstars injured. LDU out with concussion now. I think Richards with a shoulder.
So Darcy won it down, but low. Just a hack kick. Bramble out-wrestles Zerha that time and gets a shot at goal.
Yeah, it's an awful position to kick the ball. I mean, Griffin Logue's a senior core player. He needs to be better than that. He just knows you can't kick the ball central inside your defensive 50. It has to go wide. And if it is a Dogs ball, at least it's a low percentage shot at goal.
6 touches for the night. For Lockie Bramble. Played every game last year after signing from the Hawks. It's a behind. He's having a decent season as well.
Just not sure the Kangaroos have got enough class to keep Sheasel at half forward at the moment. He needs to go into the middle and replace the gap that LDU has left since being subbed out at quarter time.
McNeil, the sub for the Dogs. Wide ball. Well, Zaha kind of allowed O'Donnell to go and get it. Fed back. Liberatore. Norton's under it. He's got 4. Darcy has the reach. Off hands. Pink. Powell. Little initial fumble. Put his kick under pressure, but he should get away with it. Simpkin wasn't close enough.
Yeah. I'd say they don't agree.
3 on 2. Roos have the numbers here. Up against the boundary. Kick from Garcia. It's going to wobble towards the boundary. Did Norton keep it in? No, just...
You see the structure
took him out.
There's the collision between Zerha and Richards. You think that's an AC sort of potential collarbone injury there, grabbing for the top of the shoulder.
So it's been a terrific contest tonight, but a couple on the injury list. 2 stars of both teams. Richards for the Dogs and LDU for the Kangaroos.
Fly in the air. Sherry front spot. Norton wraps him up. You feel like the game's on a knife's edge right now. The crowd know it. It's been deafening in here at times. Bonampelli lurking. Ball comes out towards the Bont. Gathered quickly. Big pack around it. The umpire says, I'm going to do it again, boys.
Tristan, Sam.
Sherry won it down. Bontempelli read it. Came out to Powell. Throws it on the boot. Wobbly ball only to Williams. Williams was tackled in a good tackle to Johannesson. Straight towards goal. It's a beautiful kick off the boot. Will it be touched by McKercher? I don't think it was. There'll be a review.
Thank you. I believe it's behind. Can we just see if the ball's touched before crossing the goal line? Awesome. Score review. Umpire's call is one behind. Please check where the ball was touched before the line.
So he believes McKercher's touched it.
You can see the ball's touched by the right hand of the North Melbourne defender.
And the right call.
Crossing the goal line. Decision.
That's great by Colin McKercher. Just needed to be there. Thought Vandermeer probably could have done better on the line, protecting that one through and shepherding it.
So Ed Richards has made his way back up to the bench. Body language suggests that he's going to make his way back into the contest, which would be a huge effort.
It's great news for Dogs fans. And McKercher's form is great news for North fans. 34 possessions last week. The only player for North to get over 30. Phillips. Away they go. Scott out wide. Runs the width. Gets it long and drops it inside or just outside the 50. Harvey looks around to see what's on offer.
Dogs fiddling their heads, trying to protect the lead lane here.
He's gone for home. He's gone all the way home. That will send them wild. With their 100-year celebrations, Alistair Clarkson
I told you, he doesn't bother passing. He's like his old man. Everything's going for home. This is a young man who's worked really hard to get his opportunity. He's been playing down back in the VFL just to try and see if he can find a way into this team. Look at McKercher here. That run's just sensational. Just splitting the Dogs apart. Quality ball use from Scott, but that finish, sometimes you just find a player or two. 4 changes this week to the Kangaroos lineup. It's big. What a finish.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around whether he was passing it or having a shot. I feel like I think everyone thought that he was going to go to the top of the goal square there with that kick, and he's marked it at 52 metres and just gone back and said thank you very much. As Ed Richards makes his way back onto the ground, that's a story there.
So wonderful highlight, the son of a gun with a mighty goal. As Kiki mentioned, has fought so hard to get back into the team. The Harvey name living on. Hines in the middle, scraps it out to Kennedy, off a step, helicopter kick towards Darcy, beaten to the punch. Dale kicks it to himself, worried out of it by O'Sullivan. That's a good win. Then Hanson Jr.'s tunnel ball kick. Can they control it? O'Sullivan's done a couple of good things. Simpkin up against the boundary line. North keep it in. Constanti was running for it. Hanson Jr. receives the handball instead. And then a wobbly one towards half forward, cut off by O'Donnell.
A little too wide for Frazier. But there's pressure on the Dogs right now. Western Bulldogs hunting a spot in the top 4. North Melbourne began the round 16th, but forget ladder position. This threatens to go down to the wire. Sherry goes with the big fist, knocks it clear again into space. Power pursues, trying to paddle it out. They'll reset.
Yeah, the paddle was the wrong option there. Just needed to grab the footy and run with it. I think he thought he was under more pressure than he was, but I like this by Tristan Cherry. This long sort of forward 45 hit to the boundary. There's always space there for someone to run onto it.
English catches it out of the ruck, goes himself with a little fend, wobbly one, but it works to Darcy. Waits for the cavalry to run past. There's a 50-metre penalty.
Yeah, that's stiff. It's against Hanson Jr. He's following Hines, but he's probably 7 metres off him when the rule's 5. It's over Fisher's, but I think it's there.
So this brings the skyscraper inside 50. Darcy, who's kicked 11 goals in the last 3 weeks, but he's been goalless so far tonight.
Let's have a look at make your own decision here. You can just see Hanson Jr. trying to tack on the back of Hines, who just missed it there.
So Darcy will come in from just inside 40 metres and straight through the middle.
That's a big price to pay. Sam Darcy has the ball, 75 metres out. We're going to have a look and see what this 50-metre penalty's paid for.
Well, it's the umpire that's furthest away that pays it for mine. Okay, you can see Hanson Jr. there. He's trying to get to Hanson. It's not really impacting the kicker. Is he 7 metres instead of 5? Maybe. Gee, it's a big penalty.
Who pings him? Yeah, it's... for mine, there has to be an element of is he actually impacting or impeding the kicker from making his decision? But the rules are there. 5 metres is 5 metres. And unfortunately, he was in the protected area. Wasn't close enough to Cooper Hines. Sam Darcy, who's been well held by Dawson tonight, only his 5th game, gets his first goal and then goes straight into the ruck.
Sherry stays in the ruck for North and rips it out of the air, as he loves to do. Sheasel's in the middle. Got it to Phillips. Wobbled it towards half forward. Good grab. The play on was great. Constanti heads to the pocket. They got floaters left, right and centre. And Finbar gets up there. Finbar Maley.
Big Moose.
Dennis Pagan, who inspired them pre-game. Finbar Maley gets his moment here. Seen a few players ride to games on their bikes in recent times, including Charlie Curnow. He looks like he got here on his penny farthing. He's got that big handlebar moustache going. This is his moment for Finbar. Game on again.
Great call, Lane. He's an old school footballer, there's no doubt about that, but gee, can he contested mark? He gives you everything in the air. He's been a find for them this year.
He's breathing fire there, Big Moose. Mainly. Great mark as well, just to come back. The epitome of courage here. Not knowing what's coming. A little slight look, but then just going back. He's opened himself right up there to a potential knee in the back. Starts again, though. It was on the agenda here on Fox from David King, grabbing it out of the ruck.
And I'll tell you what they are doing. They're embarrassing O'Donnell down back at the moment. The big keys of the Kangaroos have taken him to the cleaners tonight.
Great reaction. It's Finbar Maley slots one. He goes into the ruck. Richards back on the ground, which is good news for the Dogs. Looking for Darcy. Going in hard was Stevens. And then Sheasel flicked it out back to Stevens. Looking for some momentum here, North Larkey. Got the free kick for the arm chop from Lobb. So Larkey up the ground. Who to kick it to next? Daniel at close range. O'Sullivan went blazing past. Was too slow for that. Next kick, interesting. Daniel works it into the middle and then tall timber everywhere. Lobb and Darcy could have raffled it. Bontempelli under pressure. Chance for North Phillips. That's what pressure does.
Yeah, it's exactly what it does, pressure.
Number one tackler in the forward 50 in the competition, Paul Curtis. As soon as the ball goes past him, he turns to Crump and then he just spears after the player with the ball. Put Bontempelli under enormous pressure.
Big kick, this one. Back-to-back goals, so critical here for North.
Will Phillips looking for his first goal of the year. It's going to sit up right on the goal line and diffused.
Williams. Is Danny corralling pretty well there. Norton gets up and Clarks. Over the top of Will Dawson. Heads wide. Good mark to Dale.
Great kick too.
In the congestion. Picking way through them here. Spears that to Darcy. He's got the reach. No mark. Holden feeds it wide. Cut off by Zerha. Letting a hand in defence. Oh, he bit off more than he could chew almost. Got through him. Simpkin. McKercher. Hands it over to Dawson. A tumble punt to get it away. Tough one for Caulfield. Great one for Dersma. Weaves his way through the traffic in the middle. Needs to hit a target. Goes to Zerha, who started all this. Heads long. Have got options. And this is a huge moment now for Hanson Jr.
Oh, great play from Zerha. He started that down back and just charged coast to coast. He's out of tickets right now. He created this opportunity. Need to finish here.
Came on as the start in the second quarter last week. 1 goal and 10 possessions. And the crowd rise as one.
Lovely finish there by Hanson Jr. Comes on as a sub again today. Mentioned last week, Drain came on, had impact. But today he's come back on, and that was shelling piece with the left footer. But Cam Zerha was the one from the back. You can see just taking on the tackle. And there's a fortuitous hit, but you've got to be clean. And at ground level, it was Zane Dersma who did. He was the one that came back inside. Zerha, who continued this play, running on, may have turned the wrong way, had Harry Sheasel wide open on the other side, but then to finish into Hanson Jr. and the classy finish on the left foot with the snap around the body. And North get back-to-back goals, and the margin closes back to 2 points. They are right in this with a whole host of names that aren't out there for them at the moment.
If they can get supply, 28 inside 50s for 11 goals. The Dogs have had 42 for 11. They're all over them in the forward line, the Kangas.
Simkin and Richards volleyball for it. Richards a scrappy ball. Foul to McKercher. McKercher's kick inside looking for Constanti. There's a player back down. Caulfield got the free kick from Zerha. They're playing with belief, North Melbourne, at the moment.
It's almost their grand final now. They won't play finals, but so many superstars of days gone by in the house. The pressure's on them, as it has been from the outset, to commit. Put your heart and soul into it. Play like your life depends on it.
Well, it's not a full house, but the North Melbourne supporters that are here for the 100-year celebration are sensing something here.
How they what?
They are sensing something.
It would be one of the upsets of the year, and it would just reconfirm how much passion can be a difference maker for a footballer. Liberatore, Pink over his head, good collect, on the run by Dawson, smacks it back, but it'll be English's ball to the side.
Caulfield. Little ball to Williams, has to receive it himself. Looping one over the top to Sanders. So Hannison back to Sanders. And has time for a run and a bounce. Works it towards the flank. Chip inside 50. Liberatore. Already kicked one tonight. The 250 man.
It was good play, wasn't it? Just took the extra overlap handball, just created a running lane, wing line, Libba tracked the ball, brave mark in the end. Generally a pretty good kick, the little man.
What's his new tattoo he's got at the moment, Dwayne?
Spaghetti and meatballs.
So he's looking for the spaghetti marinara. He's put it through. Well, he's not known for his goal kicking, but the 2 goals that he's kicked tonight have been certainly much needed. They lead by 8.
Well, he kicks them when you need them. He's, as I said, he's only had 4 goals coming in tonight, so he's tacked another 2 on. Bobbed up inside the forward 50 when required. Just look at him here. He just senses that Phillips gets drawn to the ball and stays alive, stays on that wing line. Really dangerous position. Caleb Daniel rolls off. And that's a gutsy mark for a little man going back with a flight. Good from Sanders too.
Yeah, great dash from Sanders off half-back. There is something to tracking the ball along. Just as soon as the ball does come inside like that, the whole host of options open up. But the Bulldogs, they're one of the best handball teams in the competition, and their ability to use their hands to get out and get Sanders out there was what gave them that free run inside 50.
Sanders 25 possessions against the Swans last week, arguably his best game for the club. Lever gives it up, Garcia. A wobbler outside of the boot, goal square. Lyons couldn't grab it. He had a big piece of it, and for a second, thought the umpire was going to put the whistle to his mouth, but North dodged a bullet.
Only 8 disposals for Bailey Dale tonight. He's actually been moved to the forward line. He finds himself on Hardiman, trying to reposition him to get some more drive out of Bailey Dale.
Jack Grewalt, David King in co-commentary tonight. Wayne Russell joining the cool kids on a Thursday night.
Thanks for the invite, Matty.
McKercher. So kicks to a contest in from the side, gliding at the front of the pack lob. Everyone around the ground just having a bit of a breather at the moment. Backtracks to Bramble. Pressured by Dersma. Forced to kick long down the corridor. Richards. Well, this is a story. Went to the dugout earlier on, and now he's got the football to put them in front by 15.
Well, that was bizarre. Just a long ball, a hopeful ball, a speculator inside the forward 50. Good ups. Gee, you got some spring there, Ed. Just a little mini ride off McKercher.
Well, whatever the injury issue was, the big stretching arms would have tested that to the max. The kicks off line to the left.
Daniel. Scott. Back to Daniel. Under a little bit of pressure. Get out of trouble. Dogs have put up the wall, and Caulfield one in the wall. Claims he deserved the 50 for a little nudge as afters. A little hush Falls over Marble Stadium. He heads long and the flies. Darcy! Not quite. Marcus Bontempelli, the superstar. Did he get it there? He thinks he did, and he thinks he did.
What an incredible finish by Bontempelli. He's kicked that 45 metres on the left, snapped it that high. Sam Darcy's lead out though. It's nearly been that. He's so close to taking a couple of punts tonight.
Is he tunnelled? Is he tunnelled under the ball here? No.
No, and I reckon he knew he was going to get on the ground level. But you talk about showing up front and centre. It was Matthew Kennedy that was in exactly the same spot. And why wouldn't you put yourself right in front of Sam Darcy, knowing that was under there? Just maybe got him a little bit. Not a huge tunnel, but Kennedy in the right spot gives us to Bontempelli. And just 2 or 3 steps for the champion in game 2-5-1. And it was enough to get it over the goal line for Marcus Bontempelli's second goal for tonight. What a finish.
There's some cream rising to the top there. Only 4 goals away from 250 goals in his career. The man in question, his kick falconed off one of his teammates, came back to Richards, who beat McKercher and Simpkin, but he couldn't beat him a second time, holding the football. Simpkin on with it quickly, saw Hansen Jr. laterally and in some space. Kick inside 50, kick over the top, chance here for Harvey, Maley, and then the handball unselfishly towards the square, and it's locked it up.
Good tackle by Sanders there in that last line of defence there, the ones that you can potentially get in the back. Just snuck up on him nicely.
Sherry, keep an eye on this. He goes out of the air, and I think Marcus Bontempelli knew exactly what Tristan Sherry was planning to do. He was in the right spot at the right time. Ramble, Johannesson, corralled by Larkey, who doesn't have the legs to go hard at the moment with that injured knee, but he jarred earlier on. Sanders off and running. Hunted down by Scott. Got it to Vandermeer. Loops it inside Johannesson. Got the kick away, but it's a mongrel. King. McKercher. Poke pass. Bramble. Sanders. All the poise in the world, this kid. Goes long and guess who? Darcy goes up there. And a hard attack from Dawson. Not just to spoil, but to put down the backside. Dale across the face a little. No! Eggs it in by coat of paint.
Well, that was a bone-jarring hit from Dawson on Vandermeer. Excellent from Dawson again. He's just always been there with that little kiss on Sam Darcy.
It's just got guys that are taking their moments. And this is the tackle you're referring to, a real rib breaker. But look at West, in low, clean hands, inside to out, and Dale in a heartbeat gets it onto the boot. Bontempelli first, then Dale, superstars, just lifting when required.
Yeah, that is a good hit. It's a luxury to be able to reposition Bailey Dale, not having the game that we're used to. Nearly had 50 touches here about 5 weeks ago. But they've put him forward. That's goal number 2.
Yeah, 10
touches. Smart player.
So Sherry towards Powell, Sheasel, Daniel, grabbed by Bontempelli. Fell to Liberatore, and then his piercing kick towards the top of the square. Dale gets another chance. Here goes the check side bouncer. And in the end, killed by McKercher.
You feel like it's a big 5 minutes coming up here with 3/4 time, and that was lucky in a sneaky way and unlucky in another, depending on who you barrack for. Marcus Bontempelli getting a pat on the ponytail.
Well, they're flexing here, aren't they, Dwayne? Their stars have come to play the last 10 minutes, the Dogs.
They've got the class. And LDU was subbed out early. If you've joined us late, gee, on his backside. Liberatore put down. Vandermeer stolen. McKercher got the handball up, but these hack kicks have been coming back with interest, and Lob might send this one back as well. And Sherry in a spot of bowler.
And they're going to stop play here.
Yeah, this is good. I like this. Might have hurt himself as he was trying to lay that fearsome tackle on Tom Liberatore, who's also another very, very tough man.
So the ball back in the arms of Lobb after Sherry's picked himself up after talking to the trainer. And he kicks it to the congestion. They go. Bontempelli was in the middle of it. Now that's off the boots and it goes out. And they're going to pay insufficient intent against North Melbourne. Sanders looking for English. Did he snaffle that mid-air? I reckon he did.
North fans are ready to launch on that side of the ground at the moment. Well and truly invested in this contest, as they should be, because their side has dead set had a crack tonight.
And it's on behind play as well. Cherry, Bontempelli, pushes, shoves. His spot fires down.
Meanwhile, Tim English has kicked 2 tonight. Getting the raspberries from the North supporters in that pocket who believe that wasn't a mark. He's gone the check side. And he's kicked it thin.
There's a long way to check side the ball from. 35 metres, a bit of feedback from the crowd there as well, but just probably a drop punt from on there from Tim.
Load goes back. McKercher
can't get the ball out of here. They've been hemmed in.
Hardiman. Scott. Pick their way through them nicely here. Hardiman on the run past. Goes long. Maley the man. Got hands to it, couldn't mark it. The son of the basketballer against the son of the cricketer. Maley and O'Donnell head to head as Williams spanks it back. Pink. Good battle. Got it toward the boundary. He's going to have to mop up that little mess. Trouble though. McKercher. Daniel. Pink. Dumped. Crunched. Still rolls. Scott goes and gets. Kennedy hunts him down. Did well, Bailey Scott. All the way back to Hardiman. Tight roast the boundary. Maley in the spot. Got it.
Thought it might have been 50 there.
Just for future reference, Dwayne, does a good basketballer beat a good cricketer or not?
Maley's kick towards Larkey in the wrong spot. Dragged down by the son of a cricketer.
That was a pretty good footballer actually as well.
Star at Assumption College.
Yes.
So O'Donnell out towards Darcy, couldn't rake it in. Liberatore inboards. Garcia. They're going to go laterally as Dale and Fraser. Fraser's kick. All of them in isolation here. Bontempelli, Norton. It was just too easy on the fat side of the ground.
I don't know if I've seen Aaron Norton work as hard as what he has tonight, Jack. His work rate's absolutely first class. Darcy's presenting, but this guy, he's hitting up the wing on the skinny side, wraps around, he's led for 100 metres to get this ball. It's just terrific to watch. You're seeing bottom of screen just come into view there. He burnt Toby Pink off.
So he's had a good night at the office, Aaron Norton. And that's straight through. He makes a statement towards three-quarter time. That's 5.
Well, if last week was his best game, 3 goals too, tonight's certainly been the best game for the season for Aaron Norton. And it's so important for Sam Darcy and Aaron Norton to find form heading into the season. But you can just see the work rate here. Toby Pink caught between coming up with the ball and Riley West. I think he nearly took the option just to go back on Riley West, but the work rate, Kingy.
Just look at him here. So he's representing on the left side of the screen, and then he just takes off. I mean, anytime Bontempelli gets it, you want to be on the move, but he did his work early, and I just admire his work rate tonight.
It exposed on the switch of play as well. It allows Aaron Norton then to play into that work rate and come across the other side of the ground. They bypass the whole North defence, coming across the middle of the ground with Fraser and Dale lining up to get the ball.
Yeah, imagine if we get the Norton we've been promised in the last half of the season as Liberatore goes down. Simpkin slick. Was it a throw? Sheasel wobbles it, gets it inside 50. Zerha, was it a block?
Yeah. Yeah, good call. Just early body work there, just a fraction unlucky. Williams. It's been a good battle, actually. Oh, gee whiz.
It looked that way.
It's a different sport, though.
From here, but obviously not to the fore down there.
He's a son of a tunnel baller.
They need some luck, though, the Roos. Cam Zerha. Cam goes bam. Still alive, the Kangaroos, with a quarter and 40 seconds to play.
This is important just to linger around. North have got the ability to score and score fast as well. We saw them with a 6-goal quarter against Melbourne here at the start of the season. The dubious little handball here from the captain, Josh Simpkin. Certainly wasn't a handball, but free kick there. And a lovely finish as well. Sheasel's been interesting going on ball out of necessity with LDU going down with concussion. Just hanging around North Melbourne.
Well, they've kicked 4 goals too from 8 entries this quarter. And they're on fire down there. It would be a worry for Luke Beveridge just looking further down the track. I know you've got to get the job done tonight first, but that's a concern.
Sherry catches it with the one hand and wrapped up. Goes with a big fist. That's going to go 35 metres or so. Bouncing football almost inside 50. Grabbed by Fraser. Zerha grabbed him. Holding the football North with another charge with 21 seconds to go. So Sheasel.
Probably hasn't got the distance in him yet.
He knows it too. He wanted a few of the cavalry to arrive inside 50. Kicks it to Zerha, who's already kicked 2.
It's just a bit easy there. The Bulldogs fell asleep on defence. It was always going to be a little chip. And now this is a critical shot for Cam Zerha. He's just kicked 1 goal. It was a beautiful set shot. Can he repeat?
So he's already kicked the 2. And this, if this was to go through, would just get them in striking distance for a final quarter tilt. It's a good kick. It's just scraped the post. He contributes to the swear jar. 22 points, the margin going into 3-quarter time. And there's still plenty of lip, still plenty of energy from the North Melbourne players out there. As they separate to their huddles. Western Bulldogs leading by 22. Of course, it's another big round of football, round 17. It's going to be a big one tomorrow night. Collingwood and Carlton, always a ferocious encounter. So much riding on that one. But it's a double header on Fox, West Coast and GWS. Too much football is never enough.
You're watching Thursday Night Footy on Fox. If you love sport,
all right, there we go. 3-quarter time. The Dogs extend their lead 15-10, 100. They've hit the magical 100 mark. Of course, North Melbourne 12-6, 78. 22-point margin here. Unfortunately, North Melbourne, that's twice after the siren. They've missed the goal, which could have brought them, well, let's say within 11 points. That would have been a ringing ding-ding final quarter. I think we're in for a cracking final quarter, though. North Melbourne putting on 4 goals, 3 in that third term. The Doggies, though, 5 goals, 6. Tell you what, no live ladder. All right, no live ladder. Are you sure you don't want any live ladder there? Addy G. I tell you what, $15 outsiders North Melbourne in this game. I think that was a little bit overs. I would have thought maybe around the 7, because North Melbourne have been playing reasonably good footy up until last week. I know the Dogs, you know, they've been on a roll, been on a sausage roll, but teams can have their lull. It just seems, well, at least, I tell you what, the good thing about that final couple of minutes, North Melbourne got a little bit of momentum back. The Dogs just seem to be pulling away there. Got out to nearly a 30-point lead. But thank goodness for North Melbourne, they got it back to 22 points and we're still in here for a game. And your $5 on the $15 outsiders is still live and well. I'll tell you what, it certainly is. Anything can happen with North Melbourne. That is for sure. Right, let's have a look at the goal scorers. Of course, we've got two multiple goal scorers on the board that have kicked 5. Of course, Aaron Norton, tell you what, he looks dangerous down there for the Doggies. He's kicked 5 goals, 1 off his 9 kicks. Nick Larkey, I'll tell you what, he didn't add anything in that third term. Come on, Nick, we need him up and firing in this final term. 5 goals, 1 off his 7 kicks. Zerhardt kicked a couple there for the Kangas with Sneasel, Maley, Harvey, Hansen, Curtis singles, and of course to the Doggies, a couple each to Tom Liberatore, Tim English, Bailey Dale, Marcus Bontempelli. Many multiple goal scorers, just the singles to Vandermeer. Sam Darcy got on the board with a very iffy 50-metre penalty. Can you believe it? Just some of the leading disposal getters. Look at that. Colby McKercher for North Melbourne, already up to 39 clear of the next best, Tom Powell on 21. Libber tops the table for the Dogs on 20. Kennedy, 19. Caleb Daniel, he's had plenty of the ball, 19. Tell you what, his efficiency isn't that good. My gosh, Sneasel on 18. Ed Richards, 17. Hang on, where we want to get back to? We want to get back to, somewhere there. Just for a moment, you're doing the GWS versus West Coast. It's at 8:20. Let me have a little bit of a look at the rounds because we've got a few more games coming up this week. Of course, tomorrow night, I'll be doing this with me with Collingwood Carlton. That is priority number 1 for me, being a Collingwood supporter. I'll do Carlton Collingwood. I might do the West Coast GWS on the second channel, but that will just be normal commentary. I won't be on that. I'll just have that running on the second channel. That's tomorrow night, double headers, of course. Carlton Collingwood, 7:20 p.m. from the MCG. We'll definitely be covering that. It's going to be a huge game. Saturday, we've got Essendon Gold Coast at Marvel Stadium. Another really interesting game there. Geelong, Richmond, GMHBA Stadium, 4:15 p.m. Saturday. And, of course, there's 2 games. My gosh, 2 big games. Brisbane versus Port Adelaide and St Kilda versus Hawthorn. I think I'll do the Brisbane-Port Adelaide game. Probably a little bit more interest in that game. Should be a bit more of a cracking game, I think, that one up there at the Gabba. And, of course, on Sunday, we'll cover these games. Sydney versus Fremantle, big game for Fremantle. It's a game where we're going to see whether they are contenders or pretenders on Sunday against Sydney at the FCG. That should be a fantastic game. And, of course, the final game of the round will be Adelaide versus Melbourne, where you'd expect Adelaide to come out victors there. So it should be just fantastic. I'll tell you what, it could be an interesting game. Look away now, Addy, because I'm going to put the ladder up. Could be an interesting game as we expect Geelong to win. Hawthorn possibly should win. It's a game that you would definitely want Freo to win to beat Sydney. The Gold Coast Sins beat Adelaide. Well, they'll go above Hawthorn, Fremantle. If those 2 teams lose, and of course, if the Giants happen to beat West Coast, which you would expect, they could also jump into the 8. So it could be a little bit changed around. And, of course, it's going to be a fantastic game with Brisbane sitting 2nd, Port Adelaide sitting 10th. Who's going to win that game? And, of course, Adelaide, if Brisbane lose, Adelaide could jump into 2nd if Brisbane lose. So the top 8 could just change the order around a little bit coming up this weekend. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Certainly a lot of games there to stick around. Tune in. What is it called? What is what called? What is what called? That's just a normal game thing. Hey, it's let's head back down to the ground. They've started the 4th quarter. It's the Dogs by 22. Come on, North.
Down to Fraser, Liberatore, Johannesson on the overlap. Little chip looking for Richards. Richards, true centre wing.
3 metres back. Play on.
You can hear the umpire's instructions. He plays on quickly towards the Norton and Darcy direction. And then Logue eventually kills the contest.
So critical these first 2 minutes that North, if they get an opportunity, they must score first.
Sherry and Darcy. Sherry almost going himself. Algie, they went in hard there. Bontempelli fighting for it hard. Daniel West spears it out by hand. Liberatore, it's a shallow kick, Dawson.
Leave it.
Dawson takes some time to assess it.
And this has been the problem all night, this next kick here.
So he's got Larky who's come up to contest it, and Caulfield lobbed in enough to keep Larky out of that contest. Chip kick is good. Kennedy hands it off. Bramble, a little floater, goal square. West, no arm chop. Dawson lays the tackle. Umpire says, I'll have it.
It's 53 inside 50s. North have held up pretty well behind the ball.
Sherry again goes himself, goes to ground.
Hurt.
Richards goes in, then Norton's little kick. Stevens had to get hand to it, and again Sherry taking his time to get up.
Holding his head.
Just wait. Just wait. Just wait.
Had a head knock earlier on where it looked as if his own head hit the deck. Looking at the vision, as they must do. They can't afford to have him off for a 20-minute assessment, but if they have to, they have to. Daniel wide. Bailey comes up to make a contest. Contemplated the crumb. Crowd thought it might have been out. Sheasel, Phillips, fed it back to Harvey. Zerha and Williams. Zerha did well, protected the drop zone, and lays a splendid tackle to keep it in the area, even though he blocked it, and that's good news. Sherry off and running.
Tristan.
Yeah, he's going up in this ruck contest with English. Phillips and Kennedy. Kennedy off the ground. Norton, little paddle to Vandermeer. Knew his man was there, and then Bontempelli off a step. It's a high one in the Darcy direction. Dawson was a couple of steps behind him that time.
Yeah, that's impossible to stop. He's done a great job tonight, Dawson, but just that quick out the front of stoppage exit, just too good.
And that was the one where his head hit the ground as he tackled Libba.
A couple of Bulldogs players have actually asked if he's okay in play here as well. Dwayne, you can see the doctor talking to Tristan Sherry at the moment.
Just copped another one there from Darcy, a swinging left arm.
So Darcy comes in from just inside the 50. It's a goal. It's his second of the night. "13 goals over 4 weeks for Sam Darcy," as they're continually watching Cherry here. See at frontal contact, and then coming in from the side again was Garcia. So he's in the wars.
Fierce attack on the ball there from Riley West. Just took the head of Cherry accidentally. It's had a quietish night, Bont, but he's up to 19 disposals. 9 of those have become scores.
Yeah.
Just an ever-present threat.
18 possessions in a goal last week against Sydney. Even his lower possession games tend to have a massive impact on what the result ends up. So Sherry and English, they're leaving Sherry out there, even though we've just shown you vision.
He has to come off. Like, he looks stunned. He's laid on the ground. That's enough footage to go. At least come off and have a conversation with the doctor.
Let's hope they'll have a look at our Fox Footy replay and check that out. There's a few different angles and a few different incidents. Liberatore to the Bont, the man we're speaking about. Gee, Harvey overcommitted. Way overcommitted. Frazier, Johannesson, off and running. Goal square. Low, big fist on it, but wrong guy to give it to. Garcia, ducked out of the jam. Vandermeer across his body. It's only a behind.
Can they unpick this lock of getting it out of their back half from a kick in?
Daniel. Low back to Daniel. And out to Dawson. So it's a neat 30 points the margin now. As Scott has it. Had to stretch every sinew to mark that one. Now O'Sullivan.
Once they take the next mark, that's when they need to get speed on the ball. So Sullivan needs to kick it and get it back.
So kick to the hot spot. Up they go. Sherry went for it. Liberatore came down with it towards Richards. Too hot for Williams. Simpkin can't control it. Under pressure from Duray. Constanti goes in and there's his handball over club from McKercher and out.
Christian Sherry fights on. English with him. Plenty of time left. What would be a massive comeback win for the Kangaroos in their 100-year celebration game. The belief is still high. Hardiman hits a pretty good spot with the kick. Larky dumped away last second. Hits the deck. Simpkin knew the tackle was coming and Kennedy went low.
Just wonder if the doctor will get out to Tristan Sherry. He's only 30 metres. No, they're assessing the vision. Needs to have a conversation with the player, I'd expect.
Liberatore spins himself around and skied one. Off hands, Kennedy. Bontempelli. There's no one inside, forward 50. Vandermeer, it was too high for him. Pink. Harvey. Chip had to be accurate. It was a good kick. Simpkin. Captain plays on. Heads towards the pocket. Maley leads the race with Sherry. Off the ground, Sanders, and he's pinged him for a throw.
Yeah, well, could have been in better position there to see that throw from Sanders.
So Curtis with the ball, he's kicked one.
He had the ball in a similar position on the other side of the ground, similar distance, sorry, and decided to pass it off. You're on high alert here if you're a Bulldogs player. Top of the goal square or the late lead.
Less than a quarter of an hour to play. Goal here, imperative to give them some sort of a chance, and he's gone the wrong option. Johannesson.
The right option was Powell. It was on. Just ignored it.
Yeah, his eyes gave that away way too early. Paul Curtis. Long. Darcy, just with the reach, went and plucked it and took off. Didn't necessarily look where he kicked. Straight to Logue, and they can reload. Stevens. Maley turns inside. Back to Stevens. Slips one towards Curtis. He drops it. Did the hard work, got into space. Sanders on the rebound. Polder. Sanders caught by Pink. Bramble hunted down from behind. Slipped the tackle. Back to Polder. Hines breaks the tackle. Polder. Liberatore's got Vandermeer on the overlap handball. He ignored it. He's got English in the goal square. Who does he want? Frazier, maybe. Front on contact. Frazier free.
It's a great kick. It's a great kick from Liberatore. That's his 17th disposal in the forward half, and he's going at 75% efficiency. Fantastic for Libba.
A couple of early draft picks from 2023 in this game. North took McKercher and Dersma with picks 2 and 4. The Dogs took Sanders and Frazier with picks 6 and 45. And this guy's good. Remember his name.
Tristan Cherry's gone straight down the race now. So they've waited for rotation of Tristan Cherry and now taking him straight down to be assessed.
Question mark on Will Dawson as well, who's gone off the ground.
This is what the Bulldogs have got. They've got these crafty midfielders that are all left footers as well, and it actually changes the game. See the front on contact there to Frazier and a nice finish. But the forwards start developing relationships with these mids. They know they're going to come round onto their left foot. And it gives them the chance to get an advantage already over the defence. Changes the whole game, a shift to play like that.
Out to 36. Darcy back in the ruck with Maley that time. Receives the football. Foul along the ground. Simkin grabbed by Bontempelli and Darcy. And holding it according to the umpire.
Great follow-up there by Sam Darcy.
So Darcy takes the free kick. It's a low ball towards the top of the square. Off hands to Hines. Had a little bit more time than he thought he had. He floats it out on the full.
They found some players, the Dogs. Game 7 for Cooper Hines. He's the Dawson.
Bit of friendly fire.
Yeah.
Or the wrecking ball, Paul Curtis.
They've got some young players as well starting to fire. And they've weathered the storm so far in this. Marley goes up, can't mark it. Close to the boundary, Constanti taken out. Will we get a ball in?
Oh, they've worked so hard, the Kangaroos, to keep this to a 6-goal gap. You'd just like to see them fight the game out. Represents another 12 minutes of footy. It's probably meaningless from a Dogs point of view, but you would love to see the whole 120 minutes, not just 100.
Yeah, look like the Tour de France there.
High contact. Bulldogs.
Garcia receives one round the shoulder, gets a free kick. No one on the man on the mark, so he's just going to kick it long. Inside the arc, Logue at the front, off hands, West grabs it, Norton runs with him, Norton grabbed, handball, centering handball, Hanson Jr. with the fumble, ball still to be won, West picks it up, he's grabbed by Hanson Jr. to the ground they go, play on, said the umpire, ball still bobbles about, and now it's locked up.
The 120 minutes is so critical though. You look at Nick Larkey last week, kicks 5 and probably the only performer against Hawthorn, and performs again early tonight. Need to make sure.
Darcy ripped it out of the air. Will he get the bounce? He doesn't. Sorry. Jack, continue on.
I just think it's critical for North here. There's a sense of pride, obviously a big occasion, but there is something to finishing the game you start the way you want to start next week too.
So Harvey, who provided a real highlight for North with a brilliant goal at that end in the third quarter. Hanson Jr. His handball almost cut off by Vandermeer, grabbed by Bramble, got rid of it to Poulter. Over the top, Garcia tripped over at a crucial stage. And now it's Powell with the handball laterally. Phillips tried to get it towards Daniel, but it's going to be a free kick holding the ball, Bontempelli. So Bontempelli outside 50, swings around. Two full thought. Hines had a fair bit of it, couldn't rake it in. Quick snap, Harvey to a vacant boundary line, and this might be coming back, I reckon. Yeah, insufficient intent.
Yeah. Well, this is the problem. They can't get the ball out of the defensive half. The Kangaroos is awesome by the Dogs. The locking game, it's been their best for the year statistically. Time in forward half's been huge.
Score on their side, time on their side. Kick pulled late to Darcy with that reach. Too tall yet again.
And I think this is as a ruckman, Wayne. So he takes the opposition ruckman, which is Maley, to full back, and then leads back up on him. And this is the beauty of playing this man in the ruck. Everyone's saying he's too risky. It's high risk to play him as a ruckman and at centre bounces, but you can cause trauma like this on the scoreboard. I think it's a great asset to have.
Going to be a big difference maker in September in this kind of form. Sam Darcy. What a delight it is to watch him in full flight and at full height.
So they've kicked 10 of their 18 goals from forward half intercepts, blocking the ball in. We saw Bontempelli, if the Stars are doing it, putting tackle pressure on, forcing turnover, you get those repeat inside 50s, and eventually Norton and Darcy are going to create a mismatch somewhere down there. West is more than capable. Hines is getting better every game. It's this repeat inside 50 game super strong for the Dogs.
You have to ask the question what Griffin Logue's doing there. He's the free, and not even looking at Aaron Norton or Sam Darcy to figure out where the ball's going to go. It's either going to go to one of them. He can sit in between them. That's high alert there. If you're the spare, you make sure you go to Sam Darcy and you give Bimbar Maley a hand.
Darcy, 10 disposals, 3 goals, 2. English down only to Phillips, who's grabbed by Garcia, but grabbed illegally. So Phillips, 13 touches. Right in the middle of Marvel. In a good atmosphere here tonight. Plenty of noise made by fans from both sides. Fell to Dersma. In the end, it was Lobb, Sanders, Williams. Williams in a little bit of bother. Sanders in a lot of bother. Grabbed by Sheasel. The umpire was right on the spot as well.
Brilliant by Harry Sheasel. Saw the opportunity there to pounce on the young dog. Sanders, who's been good tonight. Got the handball. Just thought he had all the time in the world there. Harry Sheasel. A bit of an edge there from Harry too, which we don't usually see.
So 19 touches and 1 goal, 1. Harry Sheasel. And it's going to glance across the face. And marked by English, who plays on to DeRay and then Bramble.
Chip kick to Sanders again. Sheasel backs back. Outside 5. Getting better with each passing game now. Here's the Colonel. Sanders having a good night. Pink. Edges out Norton. Hardiman. Daniel. Back to Hardiman, and here come the Dogs. Dale's got it. Umpire says, I'll have it.
Gee, they're good at closing space, aren't they? Teasing distance, and they just tighten the noose.
Liberatore gang tackled that time. And they've coughed it up north. Caulfield and Kennedy coughs it up. Curtis. And out it comes to Stevens, who's had a busy night. And that's a direct kick to Larkey. Who started in such a blaze of glory in that first half. It's kick 5. Centering kick to Phillips. We're inside the final 8 minutes. As Phillips is going to head to McKercher. McKercher with a little bit of time and space. Looks at the big sticks and puts it through. Colby McKercher with a goal, and a deserved goal after he's had 32 disposals tonight.
Just keeps working, Jack. Just keeps running, keeps turning up. 33 disposals, most of those uncontested. He's on the outside. He's a handball receiver. He's an energy provider. 7 score involvements tonight, which is equal best for the Kangaroos. And just good to see him finish off. Long left foot shot at goal.
Kick 9-1 career. He's an accurate kick. You mentioned his possession tally, 34 last week, over 30 again this week. And he signed up this week until the end of 2028 to take Tassie, given he's a Launceston boy off the table.
That's the evolution in the game for Colby McKercher, is his ability to get forward at the right time to make sure that he is hitting the scoreboard.
Sorry, Jack, to remind you that he's taken Tassie off the table. Powell, hearted down by Bontempelli.
Oh, Sanders is out there as well. Young Tasmanian.
Yeah, give us your list if you can, in order. Dawson, English, Bontempelli, Kennedy, had all the answers. Duray back into the team. Little fumble, but got it to Liberatore. Here's Sanders on cue. Inside to Bramble. Kennedy meeting that sandwich. And a bit of mayo on that sandwich, holding the ball.
That's 2 already. We saw Harry Sheasel a couple of minutes ago with a holding the ball tackle. Oh, jeepers. But it just shows effort. Even that there by Dersma just shows effort. That's what Alistair Clarkson will be looking for in the back part of this game, to make sure they do play out the full 120 minutes.
So Dersma feeling that one. Stars in his eyes as he kicks it to full forward. Zerha! Oh, they're not going to play it.
Well, take your pick. Oh, he's played a free kick against.
Free kick against the
contact. Take your pick.
Now the Dogs with an errant kick, so Larkey has the football and then was grabbed by Caulfield. Williams So a few errant and tired handballs here. Chant goes across Marble Stadium as Dale rifles one under the sternum of Poulter.
I think they're suggesting they don't agree, Matt.
Indeed, some feedback, I think you could call it, Jack. And Darcy's taken it with 2 grabs.
Well, it's been one of those games where Sam Darcy's had his hands on the ball enough. Jeez, a little spot fire here, and not getting involved. I think 50 minutes.
50, yeah. That's silly from Griffin Lowe. There's just no need. There's nothing really untoward going on.
So Darcy bangs it into the second level of Marble Stadium, and after a slowish start, he's kicked 4 goals.
And I just like the way he approaches the game. And we talked about the smother after he had 1 goal to probably halfway through the 3rd quarter. So he's just stayed in the game. And this is what he can do. This is a good attempt from Cam Zurhaar.
How is that not front on?
You'd like the umpire to overrule another umpire. They very rarely overrule on marks, but surely one of the 4 saw that.
Yeah. It's okay to be beaten in an aerial contest like that, but just this here, there's just no need.
That's just, it's silly and selfish, I reckon, that there from Griffin Lowe.
It's a good response from the Dogs. They look like they were in trouble just short of half-time. Their class has taken over.
Dogs have played finals 5 of the last 6 seasons under Luke Beveridge. Finals 7 of his 10 seasons in total. And they're on track again. Richards, who looked injured earlier, out the middle with a wobbler, cut off by Harvey. It's out wide to Stevens, who goes and gets. It has been a brilliant performance. They knew that North would come out firing, but they've matched it all game and lifted their intensity as the game's got longer.
Powell, little half volley for Scott. Drills one to Zurhaar. Tried hard, Zurhaar. So the flank, Scott running hard. 52 metres out. Maley at the back and then just gliding through English with an element of ease.
Yeah, tough 1v4 there by Finbar Maley.
So less than 5 to play now in this final 2.
North Melbourne fans still in full voice. Dog fans sticking around though to sing the song. There is, and I was speaking of, and signed up long-term Luke Beveridge.
And this is the difference. The Dogs with their class and their experience and their know-how, working the ball slowly outside 50.
English flicked away from him and hits the deck, but they've got the players, they've got the game style, and they've got a few that are really, I mean, the difference maker Aaron Norton is. If English can have a big season, he went from All-Australian in 2023 to missing the top 10, the Dogs' best and fairest last year. Tim English, they're a different team when he can be dominant in the ruck.
Daniel, tunnel ball to Stevens. Took the contact, lost the football, and then Richards along the ground progressed at 40 metres. West hit it hard. Norton scrapping for it hard too. Logue over the top. Has to be careful he doesn't hatch over it, and a ball up. So with less than 4 to play. So the Dogs host Adelaide at this stadium next week. North play Melbourne, who they defeated at this stadium earlier in the year in round 18. But this win for the Dogs will have them in the top 4. Darcy couldn't quite. Bontempelli received the handball. Richards was too slow. West, he's sniffing a goal. Beats one, goes the check side. It's the cream on the cake. Riley West with a goal.
What a goal.
Just big boy footy too. Ed Richards, he thought he was done. The tackle was there, but he was able to break it out. This man here, though, just had the ball in one hand and then, thank you very much, cut a couple of times, then a check side straight up in the air.
That's an amazing goal.
Big finish.
Just have a look at the work that he had to do to get free of 3 tacklers. So they're coming in on him here. Logue, half a tackle. No space to work in. Fashions a kick. That's terrific. That's an outstanding goal. The question's going to be, are they the real deal, the Dogs? There they are versus the bottom 9. It'll be 9-0 on a percentage of about 180 after tonight, and 1-6 against the best in the competition. So whilst they don't answer any questions tonight, then next month of football, it all gets serious.
English perfect palm down to Bontempelli on the run. Hunted down by Phillips and gone. No, maybe not gone.
They've got Adelaide next week, Brisbane in Brisbane, and the Giants 2 weeks after that. So it's getting tight.
Big boy mark for the Bulldogs.
Umpire's getting some more advice as Simpkin hammers it out through the legs of Williams. And they're off and running again. He knows he's got Roy Lobb. Speaking of another great year, what a turnaround. The development of some of these dogs has been brilliant. And Lobb's turnaround has been a big reason why the Dogs are contenders again in 2025.
14 touches, 10 kicks tonight for Lobb. Kick along the wing. In full flight, Darcy receives the free kick.
This is the one that he gets. He's so long. They give away free kicks like that.
Williams, Geray, Frazier runs into a little brick wall, but has support up the ground with a chip to Richards. So Richards takes on his man, scampers, he take on another man. He ran a fair way, kick to the top of the square, and marked by Bailey.
There's just something about left footers selling candy. Just looks good.
Selling candy, he nearly sold him the whole shop. Hardeman wide. And O'Donnell almost marked that after getting the fist away. Landed awkwardly, and he's hobbling a little, so we'll keep an eye on that. Zerha comes down to half-back, chip kick. Logue looked inside, there wasn't a lot on. Dangerous kick though. Sullivan. Logue, fatigue maybe. Frazier, he's got Norton out the back. Will he continue on? Will he get it and go? He picks it, he looks around, spins around its body. A little too easy.
He's never had a look at the goals there. Aaron Norton picked it. I think he thought he was under pressure from Toby Big. That does not look like good function in terms of the way you land.
Half a hyperextension, was it?
Oh, yeah, it's no good.
So Dawson off the half volley.
And as this goes out, Hilly, we've been just waiting for an update on Tristan Cherry. He hasn't made his way back up from going down to the rooms at the early part of this final quarter. So post-game, there'll be an update on the health of Tristan Cherry.
Terrific, Brad. And, of course, O'Donnell's had a checkered last 18 months or so. Concussion, hamstring, and illness last year. A close eye on him. Sheasel with the 1-2 with Phillips. On board to Stevens. Spots a man. Sits it up for O'Sullivan. As the Roos look to fight this right out with just over a minute to go. Here's Hardeman. Goes up the corridor. It was touched off the boot, so Tersma plays on quickly. A few roos at the fall of the football here. Simpkin couldn't mark it. Williams. And then Bramble. Needing support. Worried out of it by Hanson Jr. with good pressure. Curtis fighting for it, still in play. Hanson Jr. taps to himself, still in play. Looping ball looking for Constanti, grabbed by Johannesson. Was that holding the football? No, said the umpire, and out.
An interesting game, Brownlow night, this one, to see which way the votes fall. Might be important for a couple of Dogs.
Any thoughts, your end, boys?
Put your umpire's hat on.
Well, Bonk's been huge, Liver's been huge. Does Richard poll or not?
Zerha. It's a boot away, but out of bounds.
No votes for Aaron Norton, 5 goals.
Yeah, Norton's forwards don't get votes. You know the rules in the Brownlow.
Good point.
So a crowd tonight on the centenary night for North Melbourne, 25,000, and throw in 9 people. 30 seconds to go. Simpkin out to Stevens, looking for a consolation prize and a behind.
Great night of celebration. It really was. Kicked off beautifully by Dennis Pagan. There'll be no doubt wondering whether he should have gone down at half-time and kept them going his way.
So, Bontempelli to Duray, clearing kick outside 50. It's going to be a big win for the Dogs, 49 points. The Shinboners showed plenty of spirit under the lights on a Thursday night, but the Dogs go to bed tonight inside the top 4. 49 points, the margin, and for the Western Bulldogs, it was Aaron Norton with the 5 and Sam Darcy with the 4. And just over that last half of football, some class rose to the top.
Yeah, and let's give a shout out to the man who plays his 250th tonight. That's the highest rated game of his career.
Wow.
On the biggest of occasions. That's the sort of guy he is. He's an emotional connector for this group. He hasn't always pleased every coach along the way. He's swum outside the flags a couple of times, Jack, but this is the package that you get. You get a connector, a guy that means so much to this football club. We know the family heritage, we know the links, but what a player this guy's been, man. An absolute star for the Doggies.
Yeah, heart and soul of the Bulldogs, as his father was as well. I think they'd be absolutely rapt to get the win for Tom Liberatore.
And they continue that record run against North Melbourne now, also with 9 wins in a row against North, starting from season 2020. We're heading down to Brad Johnson shortly. He knows the importance of what the centenary celebrations were like. They had the Western Bulldogs going through that early in the year.
Slapping it up with all the Bulldogs boys.
But let's talk to the man of the moment, the 250 man with Brad Johnson.
Absolutely, Hilly. It's an honour to speak to Tom, and that was a game, Tom, that you had to really fight for tonight, because North Melbourne celebrating what they have. We've gone through that as a football club throughout this year so far as well. So that was an outstanding win.
Yeah, definitely. It's a credit to them. They actually fought really hard. I think, especially in the first quarter, first half, they're really diligent. They brought a lot of pressure, and they really did show the Shinboner spirit. So it was a tough win in the end. So it was, good to get the Jockeys.
You're a quiet man, Tom. You keep to yourself, but it's been good this week to learn a lot more about you as well, and not what you only do for the football club, but what you do in the community as well.
Thanks, John. Yeah, it won't be too often. I'll share too much, mate. We'll give you 1 week, but it's great. I mean, I'm really proud to be part of this club, and as Dad played and all that stuff. So just proud to celebrate internally, and really grateful for the support from the team, coaches, and family and friends.
How good, Tom, when you really think about it, and you probably reflect on it when you finish. But I was there in your dad's last game. You ran out with your dad. I'll never forget that as well. So it's really that flow, and they must be extremely proud of you as a player and a person.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really special to run out with my little boy tonight. Didn't get to do it. Me 200s because we're interstate. So it was really special, and hopefully. If he works on his left and right foot a bit more, we might get him out here in about 10 years.
That'd be nice as well. Another father-son for sure. 250 for Bont last week, 250 for you this week. Congratulations on an outstanding win today.
Thanks, Jono. Cheers, mate. Cheers.
Yes, brings back a lot of memories when Tony Liberatore played his last game on this very stadium. Looks as though the son of Lib has got a bit of pace there too. Let's head down to Marcus Bontempelli now with Eddie Betts.
Just down here with the skip, mate. North, they come out of the blocks. It was a great game to half-time, but pretty wrapped with your boys to run over the top.
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was coming, especially a big game for them, 100-year celebration. You can tell they would have wanted to, make it, a really big showing, and I think we got that early. We had to work our way through it. It was pretty tough.
Yeah, and I know you're going to head off now, but with word on Liver, just 250 this week. He's an unbelievable player.
I love him. I absolutely love him. He's a heart and soul player. He's done so much for me. I really don't think I'm the player I am without Tom dishing it out to me. There's so many times I've benefited from his grunt inside, and so many other players do. So, there's no way I could be the person and player without Tom.
Right on, man. Superstar. Well done. Congrats.
Go over there and get in, cheer him off.
This is Thursday Night Footy on Fox, brought to you by the Ford. Everest conquered the weekend and the Western Bulldogs have conquered tonight. That was an outstanding performance offensively. We know they've got incredible firepower. Jason Dunstall and Lee Montagna. We're going to break it all down, but what about the performance of Libba? 250 games, and as David King just said at the end there, the highest rated performance of his career.
Yeah, 5th highest rated game of the season. It was a fantastic performance from a man in his 250th game. You got to love when a player on his own milestone just says, Joey, I'm taking over. Stay out of my way. I'm just going to rip this to bits, and he did. And he's an old-fashioned player that you just love to see.
And he's done it the way that he's done it his whole career.
Yeah.
It's probably just gone under the radar a little bit. He was sensational again. And we mentioned pre-game. He's just continuing to get better. The older he gets, he hasn't slowed down in the last 3 to 4 years. This is a really special moment. And he's the second father-son to play 250 games at the same club. And, yeah, really nice moment.
Doesn't look comfortable.
Not comfortable at all, Sarah.
Doesn't love the spotlight. But, yeah, he's just, as Bot summed it up beautifully, what he means to the footy club and what he's meant to Bontempelli as a player and a teammate.
Caleb Daniel, obviously a former dog, going over, and just a special congratulations and recognition of Tom Liberatore's 250th, but he led from the front, and it was a brilliant performance from him. They had to, look, North were gallant for 3 quarters, Jones. They took it up to them, they gave it their best, but this is a good team and a team that knows how to score, and that's a big score to chalk up.
And they have moved into the top 4 for the first time this year. Joey, you are our ladder guru. Can they stay there?
They can, but they can also still miss out. It is very, very tight. They've got to keep winning. We'll touch on it later, but they've got 2 tough games to come.
Good percentage.
Yeah, the percentage is the big key. It's sensational sitting there, only just behind Collingwood and Adelaide. So in good shape. They should be playing finals, and there is 2 spots I still think in that, at least in the top 4, still gettable for all those teams, really. So Dogs can only do what they can, but some tougher challenges to come.
A big step up in class in the next 2 weeks. So they face Adelaide at Marvel and the Brisbane Lions at the Gabba. I think Jason will know a lot more after that fortnight.
Yeah, that might be the test or the tests that we need to see, particularly from a defensive profile, to see whether they're going to be able to match it with the big boys come September. They are very good at disposing of the teams below them. They do it efficiently, really, really well. But just a little query, we'll talk about it a little bit later on, about whether they're strong enough defensively.
North Melbourne are the Doctors there, which I think will be a bit of a developing story. We will head to John Ralph in the newsroom surrounding Tristan Cherry and whether he should have come off earlier. He did appear to be concussed when he rocked really to the ground. We'll analyse that a little bit later, Joey. But North Melbourne's effort tonight, early good, and they just couldn't sustain it.
That's exactly right, and it's probably what we expected in the end. This was going to be the margin, but at least they came out and they had a crack, and they did their past players and the supporters were there proud with their effort and their wants and intent, particularly around the contest and their pressure. They're not perfect. They've still got a lot of work to do, but unfortunately at this stage of their development and with some of these younger players, and we were highlighting it, weren't we, Jason? I mean, as the game went on, missed tackles and sloppy disposal, just those things that you need to continue to take care of if you want to continue to climb the ladder. They just weren't able to sustain, and the Dogs are too good. They're too professional, too experienced, too seasoned, and they made them pay.
Yeah, they brought the effort, which they needed to after a really disappointing performance last week. The effort was there, but they can't match them for skill or class. And that was noticeable throughout the course of the evening, particularly the way they exited their defensive 50. But all smiles here. This team is on a roll, and it's going to take a good one to stop them. They're about to face a couple of good ones. So some really, really interesting matches coming up for the Dogs.
Great scenes inside the rooms. Tom Liberatore with his son there.
They finally caught him, Sarah.
Yeah, couldn't catch him on the run out. And cheers all round as they prepare to sing the song. Doesn't Rory Lobb look different with his plain hair as opposed to some of the wild creations we've seen earlier in the year? Let's head down into the rooms for the Bulldogs song.
Hey! Da, 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 da! Sons of the West, woo! Red, white and blue, woo! We'll come out starting. Bulldogs through and through, we'll sing. Bulldogs fight and Bulldogs rock. We give our very best. Which can't be the boys of the Bulldog breed, the team of the mighty West. Woo!
Love that.
All right, folks, there we go. Game, set, match. It was the Bulldogs pulling away from North Melbourne by 49 points. 20 goals, 14, 134. North Melbourne, 13, 7, 85. The Dogs kicking 5 goals, 4 in that final term. North Melbourne could only put on 1 goal, 1. I tell you what, well, North Melbourne put up a fight until about halfway through that third term. And then just the class and the skill of the Doggies started to come to the fore. They started to pull away with every moment left in the game. And that's exactly what they did. 49 points, the margin here. The Bulldogs now sit in the top 4 after the opening round of round 17. We'll have a look at that ladder in just a moment. Let's just have a look, run through the goal scorers for the match. And of course, let's start off with the Doggies. Aaron Norton kicked a bag. 5 goals he got. Sam Darcy, 4. Came into that game in the final quarter, kicking a few. I think some of the Kangaroos were just a little bit out on their feet in that final term. Allowed Sam Darcy back into the game. 4 goes, 2 off his 8 kicks. Tom Liberatore, man of the moment, celebrating his 250th milestone game. He ended up with 2. Tim English with 2. Bailey Dale, Marcus Bontempelli with 2. Singles to Riley West. Vandermeer and Fraser. There we go. For North Melbourne, Nick Larkey, best for them with 5. Of course, opening the first term with 4 goals. Could only manage 1 goal in the second and then a goalless in the second half. Cameron Zerha ended up with 2. And the rest, singles to North Melbourne were Schneasel, McKercher, Marley, Harvey, Hansen and Curtis. The ball magnets out on the ground today. Well, Colby McKercher, there we go, top of the table with 32. Only managed a couple in the final term. He was on song for a big tally, but yeah, just a 2 in the final term. 23 kicks, 9 handballs, 9 marks, a tackle, 10 clearances. Libber, though, I tell you what, best of the Dogs. These are some pretty good stats for him. 27 touches, 16 kicks, 11 handballs, 5 marks, 10 tackles, 6 clearances, 2 goals straight. Tell you what, you don't get much better than that, as I think I was saying. His highest rated game for a long, long time. Well done, Libber. You deserve it this week on your 250th. Ed Richards, next best on 26 there for the Dogs. Tom Powell, Kennedy, Daniel and a Bont all ended up with 25 there for the game. All right, let's just roll down a little bit here. I think Rory Lobb ended up with 15. I think he did quite well in the second half. Certainly, probably, he lost the first half, but gained back the bragging rights in the second half, sort of against North Melbourne's forward Larkey. There we go. English, not too bad. 13 touches, 30 hit-outs, 2 clearances, 2 goals, 1. Fantastic effort for him. Riley West was pretty good, although only 13. He was a troublesome little player down there forward for the Doggies. He did his job well. And as I said, Darcy came back well in that final term with his 12 disposals, 4 goals, 2. There we go. Cameron Zerha, not too bad. He gave it a fair bit tonight, 10 disposals. He had a clearance and 2 goals, 1 there. And as I said, Nick Larkey just with the 9 disposals. 8 kicks for 5 goals, 1. Just rounding this out with the team stats before we finish up. That hasn't loaded up. Let me see if that reloads up. There we go. Back on track there. It was the Doggies pulled away a little bit by 27 disposal count overall. Plus 10 in the kicks and plus 17 in the handballs. Inside 50, the Kangaroos 43 in times 50 there. So the Doggies did a good job just holding them to 43 times, but the Dogs had a field day, 65 inside 50s, going at about, 20% roughly, or about 17% more than their season average. Their disposal efficiency at 78%. The Dogs, fantastic. Also, North, not too bad, 73 season average. And both teams' efficiency inside 50 were pretty good, 53 and 55%. 19 to 20 free kicks. Well, the umpires are a bit ticky-touchy in some of them, but reasonably well umpired then. You can be pretty satisfied with that. North Melbourne winning the hit-outs, they're plus 5. The clearances, it was North Melbourne, 41-35, plus 2 in centre clearances, 16-14. stoppage clearances, ran the ground 25-21, +4 there. Contested possession, well, it was a nice contested game here this evening. It was absolutely fantastic. As I said, North Melbourne just seemed to run out a little bit of legs in that final term when the skill and the class and the experience of the Western Bulldogs rose to the top there. Turnovers 65-53. Pretty good there by the Bulldogs, going well under season average, so they'll be very happy with that. Their marks was +7 to the Dogs. Really high marking for both teams. Inside their forward 50 this evening, 14 to North Melbourne, 19 to the Dogs. And of course the Dogs a bit stronger in the air and the contested marks 19-10. Looking at the tackle count though, both teams tackled above season average. Fantastic, 63 to the Dogs, normally 59 average of course for North Melbourne, and the Dogs 71, 55 season average, so well above. Good to see. Also both teams 12 and 12 tackles inside 50. There we go. A lot of that pressure was definitely in the opening half, and it sort of slowed down a little bit as the game got on. Let me see if this loads up now with the ladder. And of course, there is the Western Bulldogs after tonight's win. They jump up into the top 4, folks. So quite a few happy Western Bulldog supporters out there, just out being about 9th a couple of weeks ago. They've climbed the ladder and they've climbed it really fast. They're up into 4th position, 3 games off top. But more importantly for the Western Bulldogs, they're in the top 4. They're only a half a game behind Brisbane, who sit in 2nd position. And what is fantastic, they've got the 3rd best percentage in the competition at 133.2. Just trail Adelaide and Collingwood, of course. That could be a real good tussle in the weeks to come with that percentage so close, and who's going to end up at the end of the year on 1 and 2 to get the home final in the first week of the finals. So the Western Bulldogs looking quite dangerous in the weeks to come. They've got some really interesting matches coming up. And of course, let me just put that back over there. And of course, next week, these two sides, I'll tell you what, this is going to be a game next week that could decide who goes above who with the Western Bulldogs and Adelaide, as I was saying, because next week, the Western Bulldogs, they play at Marvel Stadium. Who do you think they play, folks? That's right. They play the Adelaide Crows next week. Western Bulldogs versus the Adelaide Crows next week. So that is going to be a big, big game. And of course, the one good thing is it's a home game there for the Western Bulldogs. It's a game that they must win if they're really going to push for that top 4 position. Because as we have a little bit of a look, we do expect Adelaide to win this week. They're playing Melbourne, so they're going to get that game ahead of Western Bulldogs. So if that is the case, then that is a game, Western Bulldogs next week. It is a must win for them. And of course, North Melbourne next week, they're playing at the MCG. Of course, they're going to play Melbourne. That's going to be a really, really interesting game as well. North Melbourne going reasonably well. Melbourne out of sorts a little bit at the moment, a little bit out of form is Melbourne. So we are going to be looking for some good games next week. So the ladder is tight, Addy G. I tell you what, it could just turn around. As I said, we expect Adelaide to win against Melbourne, and it all depends on what the Western Bulldogs do next week. If they don't win, well, they could go 2 games outside, because we expect Geelong to win this week. Coming, of course, at Geelong have got Richmond, and Geelong have got the GWS Giants the following week at any Stadium there up in Sydney. So that's going to be really interesting as well. Of course, we know that, I mean, that's a tough one for Fremantle. Who do you really want to win there? Do you want the Giants to win or the Cats to win? The one thing Freo need to do is just win. Freo need to win their next couple of games. Eddie, you got next week. You've actually got you got Sydney this week, and then you got Hawthorn the week after. So if you can win those 2 games, and Geelong win this week, and then lose the following week to the Giants, and you might just bump up above the Cats, which should be interesting. So the ladder's got some really well, it's going to be work like a magician. Things are going to change without even we really knowing in the top 8. And it's going to be super exciting because there's no guarantee that Brisbane will hold on to that second spot as well because, well, Carlton played Brisbane the week after this, but we do expect Brisbane to have a good shot at Port Adelaide on Saturday night. And as I said, they've got Carlton the week after. You just never know what's going to happen in that game. So it should be. Freo could be 9th after this round. Oh, they could be. They could be. Let's have a little bit of a sneak peek at that. Well, they could be. If Gold Coast and the Giants win. The good thing with that is, well, the Gold Coast, they actually play Essendon, and they play that down here at Marvel Stadium. So, Essendon don't go too bad there at Marvel Stadium, and it could be an upset game on the cards. Essendon might take that one out. As we all know, the Gold Coast Suns, they're not the best travelling side. So that'll be very, very interesting. So there's a week that you can actually go for Essendon. And, of course, West Coast at home. Can West Coast topple the Giants on Friday night football tomorrow night? That's going to be a really interesting match. Over there in Perth, of course, we know how good West Coast played last week against Collingwood. So can they do it against the Giants? We'll certainly find that out, and it'll be interesting. You know, and it's just, I tell you what, it's going to be, you know, you're going to be biting your fingernails for the rest of the home and away season to see where your team sits on the ladder, where it positions, where it alters, where it changes. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Freo needs to stay, well, abracadabra to make the finals. Hey, look, you know what? We hope Freo make the finals. Yeah, it was unfortunate last year. They sort of couldn't win the final game at home to actually snare themselves into the finals, but maybe this year, they can do that. Hey, all right, folks. Don't forget, coming up footy this week. Let me just let you know who's playing in the games this weekend. Tomorrow night football. Tomorrow night, we got the big game. Carlton taking on Collingwood. There we go. That's going to be a ring-a-ding-ding game there. Of course, Carlton's going to bring out all stops to beat Collingwood, as we know they normally do, but we expect Collingwood to win that game. Of course, tomorrow night also, an hour later, you got West Coast taking on the GWS Giants. You know, people expect the Giants to win that, but West Coast could cause a boil over. You never know. They did play well last week. Saturday, 12:35 p.m. Melbourne time, we've got Essendon taking on the Gold Coast. We'll be cheering on Essendon for Eddie G. So the Gold Coast don't go ahead of Freo. Geelong, Richmond on Saturday. Well, that's a game Geelong should win, and win by a big margin. Just looking at Geelong's percentage, Geelong also need a percentage booster to get up there with the Western Bulldogs and Adelaide Crows. So they'll be doing all they can to win by a fair margin. And, of course, Brisbane and Port Adelaide. Brisbane sitting second on the ladder. If they win, though, will hold second on the ladder. And, of course, for Port Adelaide sitting down there in 10th on 28, 2 games outside of the 8. So this could be really, really interesting if the Giants win, if West Coast win and Essendon win, then and Port Adelaide beat Brisbane, then that'll only put Port Adelaide a game outside of the top 8, so it should be interesting. St Kilda taking on Hawthorn at Marvel Stadium. It's pretty hard to see Hawthorn going down in that game, but St Kilda can be the fly in the ointment for some games. That's for sure. Sydney on Sunday taking on Fremantle at the SCG. Sydney played pretty well last week, but this is a game. Fremantle. There is no question this could be a season-defining moment for Fremantle. They must win this game at all costs. They must win this game. As I said, they do play Hawthorn the week after that. So against Sydney, they've got to win. Of course, Adelaide should have a shellacking over Melbourne on Sunday afternoon. So we've got some good games coming up. I think some of the latter positions will stay the same, or some will climb, some will change. It's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens come the final game of this round. Of course, next week's rounds are going to be even more interesting as well. All right, hey, that's all I've got. Right on to the 57% in the live chat today who voted for the Western Bulldogs to get up. You got it right. I'll tell you what, it was a close poll today, but we got the job done well. I think a lot of us tipped the Western Bulldogs, but we're certainly hoping that North Melbourne could cause an upset, especially at 15-1. And for all those people who had $5 on it, Eddie G, that would have been nice. Even though I thought they were over the odds at 15, they gave it a good shot up until, well, halfway through the third term at least. So there we go. All right, folks. Hey, that's enough of me jibber-jabbering on. We'll see you tomorrow night where Collingwood take on Carlton at the MCG. We'll be here from about 7:15 p.m. Melbourne time. So we'll see you then. So until then, ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.